volume check. Everything okay? Alright, let me see what Sho.
Hi. Yes.
Let me get it.
Hello.
Getting a volume check right now. Can you make sure your volume's okay? I think it should be okay.
I think it should be fine. Can I also get an audio check in mine, please? That would be cool.
Yeah. Mic check.
Audio jungle.
Audio Jungle. Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored.
Everything is good. Thank you so much. Hey, please check out Sho's channel just to make sure everything's all right on the site too. Oh my god, where do we even begin with what?
Dude, Jojo actually brought up a really good question. I think a good way to start off is like, who would you smash first? Like,
I cannot believe we're going into this conversation with that question. That is the most wild question.
That's the best question to start off with, though. Like that's so real.
Who would you? Okay, I'll be honest. Lee Hyun-sung. Lee Hyun-sung.
Wait, no way. Do we have the same? Dude, he's so golden retriever. I love him
super
so
golden retriever.
much.
The best thing with him is that he cares for you. He'll listen to you. You'll have to care. Like, he's everything you would ever want, right? So I feel like he would be the best person when it comes to any situation. You feel me?
He's like super reliable, right? And
He's
I think
reliable.
he's super reliable. He's super caring. He's really doting.
Yeah.
He does require some like affection, but you know what? That's fine.
Yeah, and some people really like that. He's also with this background, right? You know how he was raised, and also how he went through school, went through military. He's had a lot of harsh like life events that occurred. Not like I guess you can say it in some ways traumatic, but it's very rough on him, and his character becomes very small as a reason why. And you know, I feel like he would be the ones to kind of give back that affection, give back that love, no matter what he's been through.
Actually, I feel like it's because of what he's been through that's why he would be the best lover, in my opinion. Like he would definitely give that affection that he wants back to his partner, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I just really like his character and how, I guess.
And he's swole, dude. He's so ripped.
Swole ripped. He's insanely ripped. He's so swole.
Oh shit! They can't hear you. Okay, hold on. How about now? Okay.
Here now.
How about now?
Oh, mic check.
Mic check. Yeah. We good? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Lee Hyun-sung is like definitely like it's a top tier choice.
He really is. He's like kind of I wouldn't say the only choice, because like I got like it's kind of hard because I'm gonna try to be a little different, right? Because like I'm torn. I'm torn between
the other one. I bet I know who you're gonna choose.
Who? I want to hear who you think it is first.
I think you're gonna choose Sanga or Hyun-sung. Am I wrong?
Wait, bro, how?
Is it Sanga?
So, yeah, Sanga is like, okay, so she's really, really sweet, right? Though, how do I put it? I guess it's kind of like a three-way tie, right? Because like if I omit Hyun-sung, right? Because he's obviously like my number one. It's tied between Sangha and Soo-young.
So Soo-young was kind of unexpected.
So I think it's because she's kind of a brat, and she adds like such levity to the main cast, right? Because she very directly contrasts everybody's very reasonable, very like sensible personalities, and she's just kind of like the gremlin of the group that's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. And the whole plagiarist arc was hilarious because
100%.
they built it up so huge, but then it was just like done so quick.
Yeah. Also, heads up for everybody. Of course, spoilers, but you're going to be assuming that you guys have already read it. I think that the twist with the plagiarism arc was super unexpected, right? Because we're already told like from the start, like maybe around like what 25 chapters in, that
Yeah.
she plagiarized it, right? Because that's what we assume, because this is like a whole different Arthur compared to who we're first introduced with, who's an unknown author at that too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then getting to that part where we're like, oh snap, wait, she is telling the truth when she's not plagiarizing, because he's gained the ability to detect the lies of people. And then you're kind of thinking like, oh my god, what is the truth? And so her arc and her character development is really great, but I completely understand like her general personality just being like a total brat. Like I think it's just so cute. I can see why you would like her, but that was an unexpected choice from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really thought that like Hyung-sung and Sangha was your top choice, period.
So like they're definitely up there, but I think it's something about Sangha, and Sangha goes like she definitely gets more of a development later on into the story, right?
Yeah,
Especially when we
it's
get
later.
to the yeah. But even early on, she was a little frustrating, but it's understandable why she was frustrating, right? Because
Right.
she's kind of forced into a reality that Dokja's pretty much already like he got accustomed to it super quick.
Right.
And so she's just kind of along for the ride.
Right.
And then Hyunsung, he's again, we've already kind of covered Hyunsung. He's really dependable like through and through.
Mm-hmm.
He has a little bit of like gap moe to him at the first start because they build him up to be like, oh, I'm this really tough military man, but I'm also really reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And then that like crumbles down really quickly.
Yes, it does. It does. In the face of not being in power or having that control, I think that it's like hard for him to distinguish what's right from what's wrong. And
Yeah.
that breakdown is really nice to see, for sure.
It's very refreshing, honestly, because like you see most military type characters in shows, and they're pretty like cookie cutter, right? They're usually, like I said, they're very like rigid, very power hungry or like control hungry, and they're usually kind of like sticks in the mud.
Right.
But Hyunsung actually adds kind of like a sort of levity to that character trope. Like it feels like someone who's actually conflicted about being in the military and like somebody with their own, I guess, their own agency. Yeah.
Right. I agree. I really
and then you have Soo-young.
And then you have Soo-young is like the complete opposite of Hyunsung, which makes this like this entire group dynamic just so intriguing, because you have like the opposite sides of like justice, right? One is for themselves, one is for the people, and
Yeah.
it's super interesting to see like the interactions between these different type of characters who have different backgrounds to that too, like vastly different backgrounds. Oh my god.
I think you said it the best way possible. It's like you have somebody who's like in it for themselves and someone who's in it for like the group that's in it for justice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing about ORV is that the further along into the scenarios we go, the less sense it makes and the more painful it is to live for that group dynamic, right? Like for that ideal of justice and ending the scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Soo-young starts to make a lot more sense. It's like why would you go this far for people you don't know?
Right.
And it's like, damn, she's kind of spitting. I'm not gonna lie,
because it's starting to make sense a little bit.
Yeah, because it becomes something that is like it goes from being justice to martyrism, and it almost to the point of like toxic, or I don't want to say it's toxic, but like very self-destructive behavior from Dokja.
Right.
So it's really interesting to see.
It's really interesting, and also just going back to like again like the spectrum and the balance that they have. Like as you get more into the story, each character develops in their own way. It kind of adapts to the world that they live in this like survival instinct kind of thing, where that balance, not necessarily like you don't lose it, but they find that middle point where it kind of like they're going along the same plane of reality now. Like there's not the definition of justice gets so loose, because right now, like you said, it is about them. What can they do in the situation to better it for themselves? and better for their people, for their own, like everyone else around them, of course. But it is more survival instinct based than it is like strict, rigid, like justice and rule based. And I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that the characters are able to adapt because of,
Yeah.
you know, the situation they're facing.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I think the creators do a really good job about confronting this kind of storyline
Yes.
with sincerity, right? Like they don't shy away from the fact that it's like, hey, this is the question that we're posing. I'm going to answer it whether it works or not, like whether it's like the norm or not. So it's very refreshing. But yeah, TLDR would definitely smash So Young.
Yes, I agree. Oh my god, is it okay if we talk about like individual characters? Because
oh yeah, absolutely, we're definitely gonna be doing
oh
that.
my god, the one thing I just love the way this author does things is that each character is so ordinary. You know what I mean? Each character is so ordinary in their ability, you know, what they picked up, you know, the constellation that they get, everything faces a traumatic experience of theirs, right? So it's based on what they experienced. It's based on their bad experience. It's based on their traumatic experience. It's based on a bad memory, a bad time for them, and they turn it into a strength. And that's something I really want to talk about today, because each of them, oh my god, they're such ordinary people that turn out to be so extraordinary in so many ways. It is insane. It is insane.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest charm points, honestly, is that at first, especially with like Kim Do-chan, we'll go into him a little bit more because he's like the star, of course, right? But he was one of those characters that was kind of like a little frustrating at first,
right?
But if you're a new reader to ORV, then I think you're gonna, like, as you progress through the story, you'll start to see like how much you see of yourself in him, right? Like it could just be me, because like for me, especially being a writer, right? Like this story hits really, really close to home, being a writer. And so there's so much to be drawn from Kim Do-cha's character. But before we go into like any of that, we should probably like give anybody who's like uninitiated with the story, which, by the way, if you are, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if this is the place for you. We're about to spoil so much.
Spoil everything from the story. It's crazy.
But like I really hope that it like is enough to get you to continue, like to get into reading ORV, because even if you find out about like what happens later on down the line, the artwork and the way it's portrayed is so charming that I think you'll actually end up forgetting about all the spoilers. Like just because you know doesn't mean you know.
Yep. So why don't we go ahead and start with you describing the synopsis, the plot of the ORV.
Okay, yeah. So this is the plot for based on what Wiki defines it, right? And then I'll kind of like add a little bit of detail. So basically, Kim Do-cha is a young man working in an office who has read the novel 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. And for this book has basically been with him for the entirety of his life. And when the novel finally ends, by the way, I didn't know this actually. The wiki says it has 3,149 chapters.
Yeah. It says that in the beginning too.
Does it? Man, it's been so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once that final chapter drops, the world of the novel suddenly becomes reality. Like everything that happens in the book 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, everything becomes real, and Do-cha is the only person who knows about it, because the creator of 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse sends him a file, or rather the only file copy of the novel. And then he attempts to basically change the course of the story by solving and conquering challenges known as scenarios, operated by the Dokevid. So that's kind of like the loose form of it. There's a lot more to kind of like to parse through. So there's these things called constellations, or supporting constellations. and they are pretty much what you would think, right? They're very similar to like, or rather, they use constellations in the sky and stuff from history as well. But essentially, these are like mythical beings, godlike beings, who support the human beings through these main scenarios, and they offer them their powers, and they become incarnations. So a lot of the initial chapters are kind of introductions and parsing through constellations, who constellations are, which ones are around, what powers they kind of get. And then further along into the story, you kind of start to it starts to pose questions about like, who are the constellations really? What are the scenarios? Is there actually an end to them? And a whole bunch of other great details as well. And then of course, Dokcha is basically like, he's basically god moding the entire scenario, because he read 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. Along the way, he meets a lot of other interesting characters, one of which is Jung Hyuk. I always struggle pronouncing his name, but he is, if I remember correctly, he was a former like pro gamer, right? I think that's what he was like, a former pro gamer that whenever the apocalypse happened, he got the ability to return to the past and relive and like basically restart from save point.
A regressor, yeah.
Yeah, regressor, that's what it's called, yeah. So that was his primary ability. In 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, however, Jung Hyuk is the main character of that story. And so he is oftentimes brought into not necessarily conflict, like I guess contrast, right? Like of Dokcha. So I'm not sure if I've covered all the bases. Or did I miss anything?
No, I think that's pretty good. Fury said that I thought Kim Dokcha is the only one to know because he was the only reader for most of 3 Ways to Survive. He's the only one to know up to what the story told, but he's not the only one to know. I guess the question, I'm not really sure how to phrase this, but you know, people get off a certain time in the novel, and they know up to that part of the novel, but he's the only one with the file because he was the only one who was able to complete it in the end.
Yeah,
but it's not the ending that he knows. He just knows up to what the author released, right? How do I explain that?
No, so you basically covered it. So if I understand the question right, essentially Dokcha is the only one to read the novel all the way through to its completion, right? Once the final chapter drops, Dokcha is the only reader from the entirety from start to finish. There are people who started off reading it, and that actually becomes a major plot point later on down the line too.
Yeah, I had questions about that too. But we'll get into that. But I'll save my questions for later.
Yeah. So essentially, like those people who dropped off, they did not get this file from the creator. And actually, even up to today, in the webtoon, we don't know who the creator actually is. Like, there's a lot of theories out there for it,
right?
But we haven't been explicitly told who the creator of 3 Ways to Survive actually is.
Yeah, we only know them as TLS 123. That's the only thing we know about them.
Yeah, and that's it. There's nothing else that there are some fun fan theories out there, but for the most part, we don't know anything about this person at all.
Yeah, I actually haven't read the fan theories about that, about the author's like origin yet at all. Have you read?
So I've seen one in passing, and there is one theory that I think I can kind of get behind, and it's the fact that it's the secretive plotter, because so the secretive plotter is a supporting constellation in the show, and that we actually meet very very early on.
Yes.
So in the first few chapters, also, oh god, I want to talk about the first few chapters too.
Let's start. Let's start. We'll get into it. We'll get right into it.
Okay, so in the first few chapters, we're actually on a train with Dokcha and Sangha, and it's like a routine like after day commute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're both talking about like how Sangha just got a promotion. Her contract is her contract got renewed or whatever,
Right.
and the I just remembered that one Weasley. I just remembered the manager. Okay.
Oh,
but
yeah.
No, yeah. So I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, he like dies off.
Yeah, he like disappeared, and it's like basically he's gone.
Yeah.
But he essentially is on the train with Sangha,
Right.
and she is talking about how her contract got renewed. Dokcha's congratulating her, and then he finds out that he's basically out of a job because his contract did not get renewed. So he kind of at that point starts disassociating and starts talking about how like he's just really down on his luck. He's more so just he kind of basically admits to like wanting Orv to be, or not Orv, but basically he wants a reality similar to Orv because he would actually probably end up being a hero in that story. And then lo and behold, one of the Dokebi show up, and I think in the English translation they just call them goblins or something like that.
Dokebi, I think it's is it goblins or is it imp?
I see like interchangeably imp, goblins. I've seen gremlin, but I'm not sure because
for the sake of it, I think let's call them goblins. Let's just call them.
Yeah, let's just call them goblins. Yeah. So the first goblin shows up and announces that the free trial of Earth is over. So the free trial of Earth is over. Everything after this is paid content, and you have to try to survive the scenarios. So that way you can earn points to like get equipment, basically it becomes a video game. And then the first scenario is to, I think take one life. I think kill one creature. Yeah, take one life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're introduced to Kim Nam-woon.
Yes. Kim Nam-woon, the high schooler, the troublesome high schooler.
Yeah, the troublesome high schooler. I remember this. I don't know how you felt about it, but I remember this chapter very specifically, or this arc. Kind of irritating me whenever I first saw it, because it immediately goes against established norms. Because we have Kim Nam-woon, who's basically he's like the Chuni character, the Chuni stand-in character. Right? So he immediately like, oh, I get to kill somebody in game? Like that's all I've ever wanted. And gets ready to start beating up this old lady. Actually, he does start beating up this old lady.
He does, yes.
And Dokcha gets super pissed about it. So he ends up confronting Nam-woon, and come to find out that Nam-woon is actually a major player in the original story of 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse.
Yep.
And he is a companion of like the main character Jung-hyuk, and he goes on to get one of the supporting constellations, Abyssal Black Flame Dragon. Right?
Yes, Black Flame Dragon, and he appears in multiple instances of this constellation throughout. It's a very chuny, like the darkness and everything will consume the world, and I'll take over the world and be the number one, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's super chuny, and it's to the point to where it's like they lean into the cringe very comically, and it's so good. But essentially, we find out that he's like this main character kind of guy. Dokcha hated him in the story. So he immediately kind of starts not contradicting him, but like opposing him to kind of change the story inadvertently. and ultimately it leads to the cricket thing. What? So yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Gil Young is also on the on that train at that point.
Yes. You're introduced to Yu Sang-ha first, right? And then you have Lee Kyo-young, who happens to be there. And then you also have Lee Hyung-sung, who obviously tried to take charge in replacement of police enforcement because he was the only one there that had that military type of experience. Yes, continue on.
Oh no, yeah. So essentially we're introduced to a lot of the main cast. We're introduced to Lee Hyung-sung, we're introduced to Lee Gil-young, both of which no relation. But Gil-young, or rather after Hyun-sung actually tries to take control of the situation and ultimately kind of fails because Namwoon is opposing Hyun-sung entirely because he's riling everybody up, trying to get everybody to start killing each other and to like quickly adapt to the new world that is like these scenarios. And once things kind of reach this breaking point, Dokcha comes up with a plan to at least guarantee the survival of some of the people on the train. Gil Young is introduced whenever we see him with his little box of crickets.
Right.
Well, Dokcha grabs the box of crickets after, not forcefully, of course. He actually is very, very kind to Gil Young. They have such a sweet relationship. It's so cute. But essentially, he takes the crickets and throws them across the train car and causes everybody to go into a frenzy after the crickets rather than trying to kill the old lady. Namwoon, being the edgelord that he is, still tries to kill the old lady, and Dokcha essentially stalls him to the point to where he basically I don't think they actually fight, but they get close to fighting, and Dokcha ends up stalling out for time, and Namwoon dies. And that's basically the end of Namwoon. And for me, this is where I got mad because I was like, wait a second. It's not that I liked Namwoon. I actually hated him. I couldn't stand him. But I was like, here we are introduced to a character that we're told outright that that is going to be important. And then just bam, gone. And it, in a way, like especially later on, you realize that like it's really setting the tone for what Dokcha's trying to accomplish. But at first starting off, I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do now?
Actually, I like the scene because, like you said, it does set the mood, but it makes the reader, when we're reading, think, wow, this is a game, right? This is a game. This can happen at any moment. So it makes you realize that you are in a system that at a blink of an eye can like game over, you know what I mean? So it makes the scenario much more intense, and it makes us as a reader realize that yes, the character is going to change things, but the character is also realizing at the same time that he's in a different type of world now. I think that the entire section of you seeing the old lady being beat down to you seeing one of the main characters that was supposed to be something bigger in the different alternate universe be beaten down as well, and sets the tone for I guess the reality that Dokcha needs to face himself. I think that it was also at that point where he was like, probably I would say not thinking straight. I think it was hard for him to differentiate the real world from I don't know how to explain it, but I think that was just like a really flash intense kind of transition for him that slows down because he regains that humanity in the later scenarios where he kind of hesitates to do what he did in the subway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree. It's one of those things that, I think one of the cool things about
Right.
that chapter, especially looking back, right?
Right.
Looking back on it, I see why that was necessary, especially in the climate of whenever those chapters came out, because that's whenever Ori first started serialization. I think it was like 2020 or 2021, and that was like the peak of webtoon, in my opinion. Like that, we had so many webtoons coming out that were of this kind of genre. It was basically like the isekai era of webtoon,
it was.
right?
It was falling right after like Solo Leveling, when we're getting that peak of Solo Leveling too. So like this was we were in it. We were freaking in it. It was
we were living in like the golden age of like the isekai era.
It was insane. It was insane.
So I think it was like, looking back, it was so important that this had to happen this way, because it stood in direct contrast to a lot of other webtoons. Even to this day, new webtoons are still doing that formula, and it's no discredit to them. It's more so just, you have these stories where you have the main character isekai to a game world, or in some sort of like new world where it's like gamified, right? And they quickly adapt. They are living the dream. This is like it's the best fantasy that they could ever hope for, right? But here you have Kim Dokcha, who is put in this scenario, and essentially is like, I don't want this. Actually, I don't want these scenarios.
Exactly. Like, why do we have to do this? Like he realizes, and like is seeing all these like dead bodies pile up, feeling pain and seeing like, you know, despair all around. It's like, fuck, maybe I don't want this after all. Maybe this is a mistake.
Exactly. So it's one of those things that was like, okay, I see why it was necessary, and actually I'm glad that it happened that way, because it sets such a good tone, in contrast to a lot of other webtoons. And then not only that, but it also becomes a major plot point further down the line too. Like it becomes such a structural crutch for the show, or for the webtoon, that it really brings into perspective what would actually happen if people were put in these scenarios and having to kill each other and having to try to earn rewards just to live, right? So, but yeah, that was just main scenario one, and then of course
it's so intense. It's so intense,
so crazy, because after that you would think, right, like, oh, I just killed one of the supporting characters of my favorite web novel, and you would think that he would like maybe get a break. No, immediately after Namun dies, they get another scenario where the survivors of that train car have to escape the train car and cross a bridge to survive.
Yes. And then at the meantime, you're seeing in the pages where in the water there's like tons and tons of monsters, like humongous mobs that you've never seen before. And it's this whole, it really sets the scene on how fantasy like the world has become, and how unknown people like don't know what to do, that kind of thing. And that's when I think that's when he meets Junhyuk, right before as Junhyuk crosses, and Junhyuk is like, there was not supposed to be 5 people standing in this train. There is supposed to be only one person, and one person is supposed to be me, that kind of thing. Or it was supposed to be him and someone else. And now he's confused.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go on.
No. I've been talking. You.
No, I'm drinking water. I'm drinking water.
So am I. But yeah, so essentially that's essentially whenever Junhyuk shows up, right?
Yeah.
And it's actually, now that I'm remembering the panels, like going, how many pages? How far is that? There are so many tabs for or hold on.
It's so good. It's so good.
Hold on. Okay, so there's no shortage of content, by the way, guys. Yep. So but essentially, was it chapter? No, it wasn't chapter 1. I'm remembering the panels now, and the way that Jung-hyuk is introduced is actually really intriguing now that I think about it, because he literally kicks down the door. He's like the epitome of like main character energy. Right?
Literally
like
main pro tag energy.
Yeah, literally. He kicks down the door and it's like he's accompanied with fire, like explosions. He's like backlit and he looks so insanely cool. And he enters in the train car that Dokcha and everybody are on. And at the time of the scenario, we now have the survivor. It was Sangha, it was Gil Young, Hyun Sung, the manager guy.
The manager and then Dokcha.
Yeah, so it was those were the only 5 survivors at that point in time. And Jung-hyuk comes through the door and he's like, there wasn't supposed to be 5 people. There was only supposed to be like 1 or 2.
Right.
And of which that's how he meets Hyun Sung in the novel. So he's understandably confused, sees Dokcha and is like, oh, we gotta go. Dokcha is like, we gotta go now. And it becomes quickly apparent that this character that Dokcha idolizes, for lack of a better term, right? He is not a good dude. Like he's a protagonist, but he's not a good guy, right?
Yep.
So he realizes that, oh, we're not safe here. We need to run. And at that point of them escaping, the goblin comes back and it's like, oh, well, you guys were supposed to wait for the scenario. So now we have the sub scenario, which is you have to cross this bridge and survive. And at that point in time, and you would think, right? It sounds so easy. Just run across the bridge. You'll be okay. But the entire time they have Jung-hyuk on the back end chasing them down, and he ends up catching Dokcha in probably one of the most innovative ways to time skip I have ever seen. He grabs Dokcha and they both end up having a conversation. Oh wait, I completely skipped over like the most important part. So at the start of the sub scenario, right? Like they get the constellation.
Yes, the constellation, the first round of constellation picks.
Yeah, and we immediately are introduced to the supporting constellations that are gonna basically they follow us the entirety of the story. And I never thought I would be so attached to characters that I've never seen the faces of.
Right?
They have such character and such personality in just their little text that it is so endearing and so cute. But we're introduced to the constellations, which the ones that are accompanying Dokcha the entire time are the demon-like judge of fire.
Yes.
The prisoner of the golden headband.
Yes.
Abyssal black flame dragon.
Yes.
Secretive plotter, and I think was there one more, or is that? I think it was only those 4. I think there was
the main 4. Yeah, it was the main 4. And again, secretive plotter. He's right there from the start.
Right there, and that's why I like that theory so much. Is because it's like, if you just kind of like from a writer standpoint, the way to write a good mystery is you have the answer right in front of the reader the entire time. You have a red herring, which is a dude who you think is almost 100% certain to have done it, and you have someone like who hasn't actually done it, right? So between those 3 people, the one that is always the culprit is the one that's been in plain sight the entire time. If it is a good mystery, that is usually how that works out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm like, secretive plotter. That kind of checks out. But the first round, after the first round of the constellation drafts, right? They essentially we're kind of left hanging, actually, now that I think about it. Because we see the names, we go through who each person is and who Dokcha thinks they are, rather, because they these names don't necessarily directly tie them to who these constellations actually are, right?
Mhm.
It's basically like using epithets or like pen names for their actual identities.
I think that's the coolest fucking part. I think that it's just the little nuance of using a title that was probably given to them or describes them instead of using their actual like folk or mythical name. Because I think it's also a thing where like the real name of a person has a lot of meaning and connotation and a lot of power to it. So with with ORV replacing that real name and real voice with just text and with a substitute title, it's such a meaningful change. It is such a meaningful change.
And it also kind of like, I think it's really kind of cheeky in like the best way, because while it's like in story it seems really cool, also just as a reader like us, right, it kind of stirs up that curiosity of like, who are they, like who you're trying to also put the pieces together yourself. And it's so much fun trying to like decipher who each title actually is.
Yes, I agree.
I forgot where I left off.
They're about the crossing the broken bridge portion.
Oh, right. So at that point, the constellation drafts are over, and essentially what ends up happening is that we are in the scenario. Dokja comes through, and he ends up getting this ability called Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Roll credits, right? So
they said the title of the name.
They said the title. They said the thing.
They said the title. Oh my god, it's insane. It's insane.
And his powers are so broken too. It's like, the more I think about it, he had like the best ability out of everybody in the entire series. So it's first introduced with like simple, I wouldn't say mind reading, but like predictive action, right? And that's how he survives his fight with Namwoon, is that he basically can see what Namwoon's gonna do before he actually does it. So it's almost like, it's kind of like Conqueror's Haki from like One Piece, right? So you can kind of like see the or not Conqueror's Haki, was it it's the one that you can see into the future with. But that's how he survives the confrontation with Namwoon, and now he's presented with trying to do the same thing with Junhyuk.
Right.
And now the scariest part is that he's immediately faced with the fact that his abilities don't work on Junhyuk. Like, he can't read his mind because he himself has his own ability that like basically hides his mind or whatever. Basically, his mind can't be read. And he has to now bluff his way out of this scenario, because Junhyuk catches Dokja on the bridge. Everyone else is already kind of basically across. The manager is across, Gil-young is across, and all that's left is Hyunsung and Sangha. And they start to drag behind because Junhyuk grabs Dokja and hangs him over the edge of the bridge like an asshole.
Because he is an arrogant asshole. That's why we like him.
And he's like, I don't know how you survived. And he starts basically interrogating Dokja and saying, well, how do I know I can trust you? And he's like, well, I'm a prophet. I'm like, he's like, there's no way you're a prophet, because there's only one other prophet that I know of, who
is Anna Croft, right?
Yeah, Anna Croft. And we get a brief description of her. We don't get a whole lot up front, but get a brief description of her. And being the jerk that Junhyuk is, he's like, all right, I'm gonna test your knowledge now. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and if you pass, I'll let you be my what's the term that they use?
Companion.
Yeah, that's the one. I'll let you become my companion.
Such an asshole.
He's such an asshole.
He's such an ass. Oh my
At-
god.
At the end of it, after answering, like somehow bluffing his ass off, I don't know how Doksha would have, like, because he doesn't actually know the future. He just knows what the opponent's next action is going to be.
Right.
So he's sitting there and bluffing his ass off, and it concludes with him Junghyuk asking Doksha one final question: What will happen if? What will happen? Will I let you drop off this bridge? And I'm like, are you
such
serious?
An asshole decision making. It's such an asshole question. He's such an ass. He sucks so much.
And then he drops him. He just fucking drops him. And we're like, we watched the main character of the webtoon just fucking die. Like, straight up the game. Dude, I remember whenever it was first serializing, because this is that's the point in which I got completely caught up. I was like there since like day one, and then I let it build up, and I that's where it stopped. I had to wait like another week or so for the next chapter. I'm like, well, what the fuck? He just died. he got ate up by like a sea serpent.
Yeah.
But that, again, later goes on to be like one of the most creative ways to time skip into like the next most important. The next scenario. Because we then see him with the goblin, right? He's in the stomach of this giant sea, like unbeatable sea serpent. And the goblin is like shows up in his stomach with Dokcha. And he makes a deal with the goblin. He says, I know things. Dokcha says, I know things about your scenarios that most people, no other person knows. But I won't try to take over your stream. Instead, what I'm going to do is that I want to bring as many people to your stream as possible. I'll get a cut of the commission. And then from there, I will, and I promise, oh yeah, there's one other like really, really crucial detail. Dokcha will also not take a supporting constellation.
No sponsor. No sponsor.
No sponsor.
He said no to the Lissy guy. He had no sponsor.
He said no to the HelloFresh sponsorship. He was done. He didn't want it.
Nope, no HelloFresh, no Fortnite, nothing. He said $250 to play Genshin for 2 hours. I'm not taking it.
He said no deal. So, and this is such a huge point in the story too, because you see everything that we know about these scenarios are built upon the fact that like these constellations are so pivotal to survival, right? So in that moment, it's like we're getting a declaration of I will survive in my own way. I will not take the help of these constellations, and I will live life the way I want to live life. And it's such an impactful moment. Really and then he goes on. Then the craziest thing, because it keeps getting crazier. He goes into the shop. He goes into the store. Goes into the shop. Buys a couple of items, and he ends up living. He makes a wait. Hold on. Let me back up, because he makes. Was it a deal with? Oh yeah, that's right. It was a like a. What you call it?
It's a stream contract. A subclass?
I think it was like a subclause of like the agreement, right? Like, or no. I think it was part of the Star Stream. No, yeah, you're right. Because at that point he starts resuming the stream, and he says, "I'm going to survive this next sub scenario that you give me to live inside this snake's stomach." And the way he does it is actually insanity. This man takes his knowledge of the sea serpent and like some sort of like weird obscure oil thing.
It was like it was like mucus. It was mucus that
Yeah. It was
some kind of sticky substance, you know, some kind of those like, nasty, gross thing.
it was so gross looking. I mean, the fact that we're in a giant snake dragon thing's stomach in general is like kind of gross. But if for any living thing, anybody who knows anything about eating food, it's like there's stomach acids, right? There's no way you're going to live in a giant monster's stomach with all these stomach acids around. Well, he coats himself in this like mucus stuff, plugs up the holes in which the stomach acids pour out, and he hangs on there until the end of that sub scenario. And the snake thing dies because of like internal organ failure, essentially. Gets puked up onto shore, and then we're like, he's now just has to go on to the next main scenario.
Yeah, and that's it. I think one of the most important thing in that particular hidden scenario of the fighting is that we're introduced to this concept of the star stream in the first place, where you have all these eyes from you. So it's not only just like the reason why you're being picked on and the reason why you're being chosen, the reason why some things are happening are because of entertainment, right? I think that was also like one of the main things is that the more that you entertain, the more that you are different, the more eyes are on you and the more you benefit from that. So this is almost like we're going into like a type of like show at this point. And then as readers like getting into ORB, we're being shown that interesting concept. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool.
It's so cool the way they do it too, because it's like at first, I think it was such an interesting kind of like dichotomy with everything else that we were getting, right? Because we, again, kind of like looking at the webtoon climate at that time, it was a bunch of like solo leveling kind of stories. And then we have this
great. Solo leveling is great. We love solo leveling here.
Oh yeah, we absolutely love solo leveling. But like the cool thing about it is that the thing that made ORV so different was that not only was it just like, okay, now you live in this video game world, but now we have a reason behind it, right? Like most times in webtoons or any story really, you kind of just have to accept the reality that you live in a gamified world. That's just life now. But now we have this reason as to why things are gamified, and that's the Star Stream.
Yes.
It is so cool and so creative, and also just kind of it's also really funny too, because you have it kind of like brings it a little bit closer to home, I guess, for like streamers too, because like
absolutely
it makes it a little bit more like, oh, the concept is easier to grasp because like, oh yeah, we're streamers. I get it. We do things to like make sure that you guys are entertained, right? So it makes a lot of sense. But from there, after that, I think after that we get just a couple of sub scenarios, but they become.
After that one is when you get to puke onto the land, and then going into a new town where everything is covered in these plant monsters and all this like purple oozy fog kind of thing where it's poisonous. He doesn't see anyone in sight. He's kind of going around. I think that's the part where we also start being introduced to we get introduced to another character at that point, Jung Hee-won. Right, because then he goes by. He buys like a thing from the shop to cover his nose and mouth so he doesn't breathe in the poison. And then he goes into a grocery store or like a convenience store where he finds her body there and he helps her. She tells him at that point like where they're staying, what's happening, and she's obviously she's been damaged, she's been traumatized at that point by other humans. At that point, we're not entering a scenario yet, but we're entering how other humans interact in this type of environment. And he goes down to that subway station where she says that they're staying at, and then they're trying to close the door on him, and he forces it open, and then we're introduced to these lackeys, these like level D type of characters that have a sponsor that sponsors like bad people, that kind of thing. And then there he finds everyone else again. But I think that's where he is after the puking. So correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering things correctly, because I don't think the wiki states this one, because it's not an actual scenario. It's like that pivotal transition into the scenario part. Oh, this one is called Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, ORV. It is a really, really, really good webtoon. It is so good. The art is amazing. Everything about it is amazing. So at that point, we're down in that train station. We're meeting these characters. We meet one character. I don't remember his name, but he's very charismatic. He's obviously like a very leader type of character. And he's almost like a politician, right? He speaks a lot. He's very charismatic. He says what the people wants to hear, but he holds himself back. He doesn't do any dirty work himself. And then it's during that time where we're being introduced to Hee-won's trauma, what happened to her, what they did to her, that kind of thing. And then that's also where Dokja meets back with everyone else. He meets back with Sangam, with Gil-young, with Hyung-sung, with Hee-won now, and also I think with the manager too. But Jun-hyuk is not there. Jun-hyuk has left already. And then there's that whole portion where they're kind of like deciding on food, dividing food. The whole entire conversation of Dokja saying that, if you want food from me, because I've gotten it from the outside, you gotta pay up. And then we're introduced to this economy almost, right? Where it was like 100 or 200 coins in order to get a bit of food. Check Discord. What happened? Oh shit, I think my Discord crashed, guys. What the heck? Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
what
okay.
happened? I was yapping to myself. I'm so sorry. What the fuck? Did I overlap you?
No. I don't know what happened. I looked over and the call stopped. And then I was like, wait, I can't hear you anymore. So I was like, maybe.
No. I was talking about that whole like transition from the puking of fighting inside to how they get inside the station and then meeting Hee-won and meeting with everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Keep going.
Okay. So continue on from there. There's that whole system of there's that like mini economy that builds up with food, ration, and also with coins, and then you get again after meeting that charismatic leader type of person that's in the facility. You start to realize that there is this hierarchy, right? People who can fight and people who can't fight, and then Dokja and also us as readers start to realize that wow, these people are taking advantage of the situation they're in, and they're although everyone else was also thrown in the same type of situation where we have to survive now, like we don't know what's going on, they're taking advantage of that and using that to better themselves, both financially, physically, and also in other ways. And then at some point, people he's starting to Dokja is like saying stuff like, "What? How come you guys know that you can get money from killing other people?" And then there's this. I'm not sure if I'm skipping too far with that whole entire like civil war that kind of goes on within that train station, where now they're trying to get rid of the leader that leader's group that's been killing off people for money and for other reasons. And then that's when well, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say no, yeah, you're right. So that's whenever because there's that civil war and then there's like the other like civil war.
Yes.
But yeah, go ahead.
At that point it's when sorry, 1 second. Xinjiao. That's when we get Jung Hee-won's constellation, and that's when we get her development. So hers is the
I love her so good. Sorry, I'm gonna take a second to gush because I love her so much. She's so good. She's such a great character, and this is also I won't take up too much, but like, dude, she's one of the first few characters that we're introduced outside of somebody that Dokja knows that was not part of the original story.
Yeah.
And she later becomes like one of the most pivotal characters in the entire show.
Yeah, she was not supposed to survive. She was not supposed to survive at all. She
At
was
all.
supposed to
And
die
then-
out there, but then.
Docha
Oh my
just
god!
that I still think about that scene to this day. I still like him going through like the poisonous gas,
Mhm.
him picking her up, and then dude, God, the scales, the time of judgment arc.
Oh,
that was
That
my
was god.
so good.
I'll be honest, I did tear up a little bit reading that part.
Me too.
It's the entire like justice system. She is justice herself, right? But the
Yeah.
reason of why she is enacting on that justice is it was truly so sad what she had to experience for her to go through that entire phase. Oh my god, I was crying for her, man. Like I was like, fuck. How
It was
can
so
humans
satisfying.
be? It was so satisfying for her to enact on that judgment, but at the same time, so sad for what she had to go through.
Yeah, it's like whenever I say okay, let me clarify. I don't want to mean satisfying as in like the suffering was so good.
No.
No, I mean like it's one of those that's like it's such a greatly earned moment of like
Yes.
catharsis, right?
Yes,
Because she's
yes.
going through all of this pain and trauma,
Yes.
and then on top of like the scenario, and then to make matters worse, like she having to go through that station gang situation, right?
Oh man.
and-
Fuck them.
God, I hated seeing them every chapter. They were so anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
But, like,
exactly.
But to see Hyun just go from basically being a victim of all of that to her owning it, and then getting her, not necessarily her revenge, but just kind of like coming to terms with what happened, and coming to terms with the scenario, and being able to exact justice.
Mhm.
It was such a cathartic moment in that series.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going. Sorry, I just wanted to talk about her.
No,
I love her so
no.
much.
Go on. Because I think that the part after that is when they get into the next scenario of the flags. Is that it?
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I don't think there was a sub scenario before, like after they had that fight, and she gets her actual like sponsor like revealed during that time. I don't think there's a hidden one after that.
I don't think so. Because
I think-
there was a couple. Yeah, there was escape. There's disaster prevention.
Yeah. This one I think is the I think it's just the flagpole one, because then he says something like, oh fuck, what was it? The flag. Oh fuck, how did this one start? This one was like he separates from. Oh yes. So he leaves the food for the people who survived in that little war they had, right? In that little fight they had.
Yeah,
And then he separates, goes with his actual group, goes with Himwon, goes with Sungha, goes with Gilyoung, and goes with Hyungsung. And they start traveling through the stations, and they fight a bunch of like rats and stuff like that to get the food that they need. And then that's when they meet the mentor-looking things that kind of reenact, it like makes the characters go back on what they like trauma of their past.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely forgot about those.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty good one. Because
Yeah.
they discover like the crystals helped them some ways, like the ones the mentors dropped, and he helps with clearing that portion because he has the fourth wall. He's not affected by mental attacks.
That's right. I completely forgot, because that's whenever we're also introduced to the concept of like, demons at that
Yeah.
point. Because
Yeah.
now we initially think we're like, as far as the mobs are concerned, we just have like a whole bunch of like low level mobs. We have like monster rats, giant dragon snakes,
Mhm.
and a whole bunch of other like miscellaneous stuff, right?
Mhm.
But then we're introduced to like the concept of demons.
Mhm.
And this is so funny too, because I think the manager at that point is still with I think we gotta talk about it, because like he
He's
kind of
He's the very definition of like a character that does not need to be there, but at the same time needs to be there in order for him to do something wrong so the characters can develop. You know what I mean? Like, he's not pivotal, but he's pivotal at the same time because he's just like, fuck, I hate that guy. I hated that guy.
Hated him.
He was so useless. All he did was like mess around and stuff.
He would just get in the way of Dokcha's company. He would cause, and he was always the stereotypical like antagonistic force. He's the one who would like, I'm going to do what I'm going to need, like what I need to do to survive, but in a scummy way, right?
Yeah.
He was the very like leech parasitic type character.
Yeah.
But he at this point is still with him and with Dokcha and company. And during the like the subway civil war thing that happened with, what was his name? I forget his name, but he was like,
Manager
his
Lee
ability
or
was like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, hold on.
I really forgot his name.
Han Myung Go. Oh my god.
Manager Go?
So, yeah, Manager Go. And this is also kind of like where we get the most cathartic moment as well for him.
Oh yeah, because, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good.
It felt so good. It's like, you ever see somebody who's just like talking so much shit, and then all of a sudden something like, nothing like super bad happens to them, but something bad kind of like, they get checked real quick, right? That's kind of what happens, because they're faced with like this giant demon dude, this Dementor dude, and Dokcha doesn't kill him at first. Dokcha doesn't kill the demon. What he ends up doing is that he beats them into submission with Broken Faith, which is his weapon, right? He gets it from this cash shop. He basically imbues it with like another item, and it turns into a holy item, which is effective against demons. And he beats the demon into submission and gets ready to go, so that way they can get like the treasure, get all that good stuff, and take off. This, oh my god, this fucking rat, fucking rat decides to walk up to the demon, and all we see is out of frame, like from the corner of Dokcha's eye, we see Manager Go grab like a stick or a sword or something. I don't know what it is. I think it was like a bone or something. And he stabs it in the eye and kills it, and they get a notification. And they're like, oh man, I guess you could, I guess you're just like cursed now. And Manager Go's just like, what do you mean cursed? What are you talking about? And he ends up getting cursed with the Demon King's wrath or something like that.
Yes, for killing one of the minions.
Yeah, so this is a consistent theme too. So whenever you kill any of like the demons at all, the Demon King takes notice and he puts like a curse on you to the point to where you like guaranteeing your death.
Yes.
So in that moment, it was just one of those, I was like, oh my god, thank God.
Yeah, he's getting what he deserves. Asshole.
He got what he deserved. It was so fucking
good.
And then that's when we get into the flagpole scenario.
Yep. Yeah, and that's when you start going to other places.
Yeah, that was so cool, by the way, because one of the things that I kind of dislike about not most webtoons, because this kind of goes across with pretty much any form of content that I take in. I love world building. So I love to see other aspects of the world being lived. Like I know in this case for ORV, it's primarily just Seoul, but we are taken from various different parts of Seoul, and not only in Seoul, but we also get to learn about a lot of different historical figures and mythical figures in Seoul and in Korea's history too.
Oh my god, it is so good how they made a character specifically for that reason, not only that Kim Dok-ja is gonna know like what this historical figure is for, but you also have another character who is gonna give us a deeper insight on like the historical reason of why they are a fable in the first place, right? Like the reason of why they're so known in that country. It is so good. It is such a great learning experience throughout everything, through the characters, through the world building. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so chef's kiss. It's so good. And then on top of which, that is also whenever we start to learn more about the constellations too.
Oh my god.
Because now we learn from this scenario moving forward that there's a hierarchy to the constellations as well. It's not just like everyone is on equal terms. No, there's also hierarchy and like less than, better than like mentality amongst the constellations as well.
Yeah.
So it's so fascinating, and it's so, I understand like they've had so much time to kind of like build upon it, but a lot of the trouble with maintaining and building upon stories like this is that sometimes it gets to be too big, right? And it's hard to remember certain details. But somehow the creator of ORV has remembered specific details and ties it back so well.
Yes,
like
yes. All little things come back. Characters come back. Things come back. Little things that you think aren't so important, they come back later in the story. It's mind-boggling. Like how much the author has thought into the future in which things tie back, and we don't realize until we reread it or we're reading and we're like, what the fuck, didn't we know about this, or didn't they mention this, or didn't this happen, or something like that. And then next thing you know, it's
they're so good at like so good expanding on details, because there's so like kind of like how you were saying, it's like there's so many points in the story in which like, oh, I feel like I know what I need to know about this, right? Like I get it, right? I understood the assignment, we're on to something else. But then they bring it back and they're like, well, you thought you know about this, but now there's this whole other thing going on with it too. Like, again, the best example of this is with the constellations, because you then learn like there's fabled constellations, there's mythical constellations, and I think there's like one more. Yeah, historical all of that. It is
so good. It is so good. Oh, and I can't wait to talk about that more into the other chapter, the more quote unquote recent, in the past like 30 chapters, where they actually touch upon that like the constellation hierarchy. Oh
my god. Not only that, it's just like then they start touching upon like also like the demon stuff too.
Oh my god. That demon arc was so fucking good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
So okay, kind of talking about that a little bit more too.
Okay.
Not too much in detail, right? But did you notice that the most recent chapter, it had music to it?
What? Wait, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there was, in the chapter, they had music attached to the actual comic.
No fucking way. I did not notice that at all.
It's such a fucking gut punch.
Oh fuck. The recent chapters are kind of fucked. I'm not gonna lie with you.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Fucked. Oh my god! Like when you guys get to that point, you're gonna be like, oh fuck, because then that's when we start getting to know about Kim Dok-ja's like background kind of thing, and it's like it's fucked. It is fucked.
And there's just no time to breathe either, and that's what I thought was like, Jesus, it's like one tragedy after another for this guy.
Oh my god, this character started out so ordinary too, right? Like he's a guy who was an office worker. He wasn't treated well in high school. He was very much to himself. But then all these tragedies and all these like stuff, we learn about Dok-ja as a reader, and he is as a reader as well. So it's just so many layers that are built upon each other, and this, in the way that, again, it still goes back to the past, and goes back to what was said previously, makes the timeline so messy, at the same time so smooth, because we learn about Kim Dokja's character as we go through these different types of scenarios, and we get introduced to different type of characters, but we don't really get to know his background too much until we get to the later chapters. Now it's oh my god,
the worst part is that it's kind of teased too, because like
100%,
we get like crumbs very early on,
yes,
because I think it's like not long after the like the king qualification stuff, like the Civil War stuff. We run across somebody who like had turned themselves into a demon willingly.
Yes, the bully.
Yeah, so we were, and it's a very short chapter, like it's very, his character arc, that demon dude's character arc in the entirety of it, it doesn't last long.
Nope.
But it's so important in setting a foundation for what's to come later. And it gets the reader thinking like, oh wait, what happened in Dokja's past? What is this?
Yeah.
It's so good. And I think you really said it, you said it well too. It's, the creator is really good about developing these characters and taking their individual like past experiences, their traumas, and turning it into points of strength, rather than taking the route of saying like, woe is me, this is my past, this is why I am the way I am, like that is how it is. It really brings into perspective of like the what kind of characters they are, right? Like they see their, like they know their trauma, they turn it into a power, and they confront that past self so they can be better in the future. I mean, for Dokja, like we're still kind of like we're still in it with him, because like in the most recent chapter kind of got me pissed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, brother.
Yeah.
Brother.
Well, we also have to understand that he has that fourth wall too, so he is also protecting his own trauma. Like he's doing his best to like fight against it that entire time. Right, so he's only affected during certain times, and that's when we get that really sensitive detail about him. But he is still, even we are being protected by his fourth wall, because he's himself blocking us from it, you know?
That's true. I never even really considered it that way, because it's like, it's very much so like, because he's shielding himself, we are also being shielded as readers. And I respect that. It's one of those that it's like, it's only more so like a very tiny grievance, just because it's like, brother, you've gone through all this, you've gone like, especially the most recent chapters, it's like, I'm so proud of your growth. Why are we back here?
Why are we doing this again?
Why are we doing this again? But it also leads to like one of the best, and that panel of the most recent chapter where the big event happens. Oh my god, that panel art is so fucking good. I really want that as like a print or something, because it is such a nice panel. The artwork is insane, mind you. Like if we're not selling you on the story in itself, that's fine. Just read it for the art, because the artwork is insane. It is so good. They're so expressive, but also like as they're getting better, you can see their specialty kind of like start to show out, right? Like they're really good with expressions, but they get so good at like action sequences that you can feel the power in each blow. It is crazy good.
Oh my god. I think a really great example of that was during we're skipping a bit further ahead, but the pygmy arc.
The
action scenes was insane there when the smaller the small people, the smaller people.
The Peaceland arc.
The Peaceland arc, yes, that's the one. That was insane action scenes. I really liked it. Liked it.
It was so good, and it was right after the Demon Lord arc too. the Demon Lord arc, I think, has got to be my, or not Demon Lord, sorry, the Beast Lord arc, Beast Lord. That has got to be my most favorite arc to date.
Okay, can we skip to that part real quick?
Please,
let's talk about this character. This character that we're introduced much later on, Shin Yu-sung. Shin Yu-sung, the entirety of her existence, her being an actual Beast Lord character that you see in the Regressor's past, in Junyook's past, in multiple times, but she always either dies or she splits from the main character, because that's what story is meant to be. In this scenario, in this universe, in this reality, she is introduced as a smaller character, as when she's a child, and she meets Dokja instead of meeting Junyoung. Sorry for coughing, but that changes so many things, because we see her as a very fragile girl who has no abilities. She has no sponsor, nothing yet, and then Dokja makes a contract with her, right? I will be your sponsor. And it's ridiculous because he has no sponsor, and all these constellations are like, what the fuck are you doing? Even the Dokkaebi at the time is like, what the fuck, you can do this? And yeah, it's a human and human contract, like, and then he shows her that it's okay to feel what you feel and do what you do, because you're young and you're trying to survive and you're going through all this pain and all this suffering. And he picks her up as his sponsor, as her sponsor, and then we get the part where he knows what she is, and he knows what realities she's faced in her previous lives, and he raises her to be a beast tamer that is able to know her own strength and to overcome her past, her trauma of, the puppy. Oh my god, do you remember the puppy?
Yeah.
She's like, I'll like protect you in the next life, or I'll protect you in the future, or something of that sort. But it was, oh my god, I fucking cried at that too, because I'm like, she's so young. She's so young, and she had to face all this. Like, she's Gil-young's age, I think, around there. And they both had to face so much, and even Gil-young himself has a lot of trauma with his parents, and we get that one. We actually get that look into his past from Dementors when they infected him with that nightmare kind of dream where he is like on the floor crying about like something. Oh fuck, I don't even want to say, because all these characters had something that either happened to them when they were younger or something that happened to them more recently. Like, for example, someone who's more recent is Jihye, with the whole high school incident, the entire beginning part, actually.
That's right.
She was the sole survivor of the all-girls high school, and her best. We gotta go into her naval arc. The reason, like, seeing her naval fleets for the first time. Oh my god, that arc was
sick, man.
Oh my god, it was. That panel itself needs to be like put up on walls everywhere. Like, I can't even begin to explain. But okay, going back to the Beast Lord arc, he trains her, and then the entire thing is for them to get over to the ocean or the river, and again you see all these like sea monsters, and he makes her desperate. He hurts himself and he puts himself in a difficult position purposely so that she can develop and evolve into a character that, you know, knows her own strength, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like in that situation, and this would later on, this goes on to be like another trend with Gil-chan. That's kind of like why I was a little pissed about it earlier. But he does this thing where he puts himself in danger so that way Yusung can kind of develop and grow into who she needs to be to kind of overcome her fate, right? And that's like the biggest thing about her character arc, is overcoming her fate, overcoming her trauma, and overcoming people's like expectations of her. Because it's not just Dokja who knows what she is to become. It's Jung-hyuk and it's basically all the kings of Seoul as well, of Seoul Dome. So they all know that what she's going to be later on. So you have basically the entire world telling this like 11, 12-year-old that she's like gonna be like this big disaster.
She's gonna be a disaster. Like how horrifying is that to hear? And at some point in the beginning when we were meeting her, she's like, "You can kill me now." I'm like, you're hearing this from a kid.
Oh my god, that was so depressing.
There was nothing in her eyes. The artist drew literally no highlights, nothing. She was accepting the fact that she was going to die, and that was so heartbreaking.
It was so sad to see, because it's like, you see, it's like having, like, what would you do if you were put in a situation where you have this cute child, like, not even like excluding the fact that she's adorable, because she's absolutely adorable, but just the fact that you have this child, right, that hasn't even begun to live their life, look at you with the saddest look in their face and say, "You can take my life now. Like, it's for the betterment of mankind. You can take my life." That is so sad.
Oh my god.
But then and that's whenever Doksha decides. He's like, "No, we're gonna find a different way." Because what I set out to do from the start was, and this is kind of like where we get his an introduction, or kind of like seedlings to like what his overall end goal is. He wants to like bring not only an end to like the scenarios, but also he wants an alternate ending.
Yes. Oh, I love all this like alternate endings, and like she actually, this character herself, Yusung, we get a taste of like different alternate timelines, and these like crossing of paths, and the overlaps of different like lifetimes and regressor lives. It's such a complex kind of set of overlaps, because now you have two of the same person in the same timeline. Like, what the fuck? It gets you so mind fucked. It gets you so.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Whenever they first like started doing that topic, like they started talking about that, I was actually hella confused, because it was like, on one hand, it was so cool, but at the same time, I was like, wait, so how does this timeline meet up with this timeline? And then he explains it, and I'm like, I still don't get it.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I'll take it though. I'll accept it. We'll go with it.
Yeah, right. Like this, you're telling me what it is, so I mean, I guess that's it. But I don't, because like, I think how does he explain it? He says that it's like the many worlds theory, but he uses like some weird analogy with cinema and like cinematate.
Yeah. That's when he speaks to Susanga about it.
Yeah. So he explains it saying that like each timeline or each world is basically like if you were to cut the ends of a roll of film.
Yeah.
And glue the other end to a different timeline.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so much. It is so much.
The entire time I was reading, I had to reread that like 2 or 3 different times.
Yep. Same here.
I was like, I get it, but I don't get it. You know, it's like, you know what? I'ma just move on.
Yeah, let's go to the next part. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
It's so that whole arc though is just insane, and the way that it ends.
Oh, please, let's go to the disaster being born, because from
oh my god,
I cried.
Dude, me too. It was so devastating, because now that we know that Yusung is this disaster, right? They have disasters of each like cardinal direction, and Yusung is the disaster of floods. And she is like the worst one too. So now that we know she is a disaster, we now know that in order to survive the scenario, because this is what we know as as survivors, not as readers, as survivors, we have to put an end to this disaster in order to live, right? Like that's how we get to the next scenario. But now we're given this confrontation. Like now we have this inner conflict, right? We know this young girl is going to be that person, but how can we prevent her from becoming that person, but also us ourselves live on and become and go on to the next scenario? And like that's such a huge crux of the entire thing, right? So we fast forward and everyone is now on the island where the disaster is at. And that's I think it's because at that point in time, that's right. So another main component to this is that Jung-hyuk, since he is a regressor, he has past information, right? So she was part of his party in the past, and then we find out that Jung-hyuk sent her to the future basically, and told her to live out all these many lives, go through all this excruciating pain just so that she can come out on the other side on this timeline that we're on, for Jung-hyuk to give vital information that could change the timeline. And it turns out, and remember, we know how all of this turns out because this is what happens in the original novel of 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, right? So we know what happens. We know that this timeline that we're in is not like the way that it's not the way that Jung-hyuk wants it to go, and there's no point of her having gone through this pain. So he releases her from that like egg thing, and she becomes the disaster of floods because she realizes that she was being used. But here's the kicker: as much of an asshole as Jung-hyuk is, he asks her to do it again.
She was stuck in limbo forever because of him. She was stuck for such a long time, going through all this pain, all this scenario where it ends in the same way. She gets rejected by him as a companion, or she dies, or something happens where she just has to keep on living over and over again for his use.
And this time around, she finally has enough too, which this is also why I was also kind of rooting for disaster Yoon-sung too, because like if I were in that like point of view as well, man, fuck no, no,
you bitch, you fucking let me live my life.
Exactly. And then oh god, it pisses me off so much thinking about it. But he's like, yeah, I need you to do it again, so that way we can get some more vital information.
Jesus
and
Christ.
She goes off. She realizes that he is not the type of person that is capable of having a companion. That he's the type of person that uses others just for a selfish gain. And she goes on, dude, she goes on a tire. Like she destroys everybody. Because at this point, now since we've gone through a lot of different scenarios, a lot of the people that are surrounded by us are actually like strong, competent incarnations. And she's tearing through them like nobody's business.
And another the thing to mention is that she's actually never seen some of these people either, because they were not supposed to survive in the scenarios previously. So these are also this is a new lifetime for her, new reality for her.
Yeah, because she not only because now you have her fighting, and I think this is like where it starts to kind of get really, really good, right? Because you see the original fights with Hyun-sung, Ji-hee, and like the rest of Jung-hyuk's party. And this is happening all according to how she remembers. But as she gets to Hyun-sung and Ji-hee, she hears the name Dokcha over and over again.
Oh my god.
And she starts to like, you can see her get confused, like visibly confused, because she's like, who is Dokcha? And what are you talking about? Right? Like this shouldn't be happening, but I'm not gonna question too much about it. It isn't until the big kicker happens. She starts fighting Junhyuk, and she is confronted with the fact that this Dokcha person is as close to a companion as Junhyuk has ever had or ever come close to.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that sends her into a frenzy.
Yes.
Because here, and understandably so, because imagine going through all that trauma just to get rejected as his companion, only to find out that some rando that didn't exist in this timeline is now suddenly your, like, what? It's like finding out you get cheated on by your duo in Valo, bro. Like, what? Like, she goes off, and that's whenever Dokcha arrives with Songa and young Yoon-sung as well. And this is kind of where it starts to, you start to see like the pieces, the ends start to meet together, right? Because she starts fighting everybody, and she fights Dokcha. And if I remember correctly, Dokcha dies.
Yes, he dies. He dies purposely.
He dies on purpose. And
was it on purpose or was it by accident? No, wait, no, he
I think it was on accident.
No, it was on accident. And then he has that King of the Kingless World fable, which allows him to...
That's right. The King of No Killing.
The King of No Killing, yeah. He saves 100 people. He gets that ability to resurrect after a certain time. But before that, gets to take over or gets to experience a body or a physical body. And he actually goes into Disaster Yusung's body. And that's why when they were fighting, she could not kill the people that she could kill. Like Gil-young, Ji-hye, Sanga. Like, she could not kill them because that entire time Dokcha was keeping her strength at bay.
Yeah. Oh my god. It was
Yes.
Chef's kiss. It was such a good arc.
So good. It was so
and
good.
The worst part is we're not even done yet. No, there's still more.
There's more to this arc itself. There's still
so much more to this arc.
This Yusung arc was, oh my god,
it's so good. Honestly, if I were to tell anybody to read, if anybody's gonna read ORV at all, read it for the beast. This is like the Chimera Ant arc for like Hunter x Hunter, right?
Oh my god,
that's
really
what
is.
Beast Lord is to me. Like, it is so good.
Yes.
And the ending, it's just it's so heartbreaking.
So heartbreaking because now you're getting close to the end where you have Dokcha and Yusung's body still, and they're kind of communicating each other, and she realizes that he's in there. He gets back into his body at some point, and I forgot how she ends up getting initially defeated. What was that? Was that through Dokcha's? Or was that through?
I think if I remember correctly, it was because of Dokcha. Because at this point he reincarnates because he has the ability called King of No Killing from the previous arc.
Yes.
So he revives with that, gets his clothes and stuff. And that's another funny thing is just like there's like a brief interjection to like lighten the mood. But every time he reincarnates without his clothes.
Yeah, it's funny.
it's so funny. But he reincarnates and then he gets back into the fight. And he's fighting with Beast Lord Yoon-sung, right? Yoon-sung. And they get to a point to where he's not trying to kill her anymore. Like, he was never trying to kill her, but he's not trying to like aim for fatal blows or anything either. He's just like fighting her back at this point. And he's talking with her the entire time, and he makes a promise to her to try to find a way for her to live in the next scenario. Right. To live her life in this timeline so she never has to go through that again. And they win by default.
Right.
Because she loses the will to keep fighting. Which is like, you would think, oh, happy ending, right? Like this is the best possible ending we could have to this arc.
And then
No.
Oh
No.
my god. Oh my god.
Then there's this mid-level
fucking
goblin
Bakugo.
motherfucker.
Oh my god, it made me so angry.
I was so pissed at this dude.
That's when
She
you know the
shows
author's
up.
really good. When it really just
Like,
oh my god.
they're just so, the author is just really, really good at getting us
God.
to emote to things. Like, they know how to push our buttons so well.
Oh, they
And
really do.
So essentially, like, this mid-level goblin boss shows up over like the main dude that we know, because the entire time we're going through these scenarios, we're working with one specific goblin.
Yeah.
And at some point, we start to learn like about stuff called probability. We won't go into that just yet.
Oh my god, it's so intricate. I think we gotta have a separate stream just dedicated to like, the system of the Star stream, and also this system of probability, and the oh my god. Because then if we want to talk about probability too, we gotta talk about that one section where he actually where he destroys the chair. Because
that's right.
That was
the
also
throne,
huge. The throne part was also. Oh my
and
god.
that's where this dude comes in too. That's where this mid-level boss Dokebi shows
plausibility,
up.
That's the
Yeah.
word.
Oh yeah, plausibility. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
But like, that's where he the mid-level boss shows up, because he's already pissed that like the most important thing of the next to like continue into the scenarios
is to kill the
which is just completely destroyed by this rando, right?
Yeah. Fucking
So
Kim Dokja.
so like he's pissed. So he's made it his mission to kind of like interfere with Dokja now. And it comes to a head here in the Beast Lord arc. So he shows up and he's pissed at Dokja. He is like, you have fucked up my scenarios more than once now. I'm not going to let you do it again. So he snaps his fingers and immediately changes the scenario to where the Beast Lord Yu Sung is now definitively evil. Like attribute evil.
Yeah.
She loses all sensibility. She's now basically a mindless monster at this point.
Yep.
And the scenario is now changed. Like, the way to clear it, the way they have to win, they have to kill her. That is the only way for them to clear the scenario. Yep. And everyone is pissed. So what ends up happening, mind you, this also leads into like one of the coolest fucking arrivals in the entire like webcomic is their fight. So Dokja and Jonghyuk are now fighting against Beast Lord Yusung.
Yes.
Together. So mind you, that whole scene is already really fucking cool, because this is the first time we've got to see them fight together.
Yes.
And it is so impactful. You feel the weight of every panel. It is so good. But then they start to lose. And while everybody's like spirit is like broken because they have to kill her, in comes Haewon, bro. And in the coolest arrival I have ever seen, Dokja basically broken. She arrives with her sword in hand, a brand new outfit, and scales behind her, and she says, "Don't worry, Dokja. I will end this scenario for you." And it is the coolest thing I have ever seen, because up to now, everyone's kind of been like separated a little bit. They've gone their own separate ways to kind of level up, right? And the only person that we met up with again is Sangha. So Haewon shows back up again. And now she has a supporting constellation.
Oh my god, it is. Oh.
And then the minute we see the scales, we see that she has mastered her constellation and is. She has the flames, demonic flames of judgment.
Oh my god, it's such
I was like, dude,
so
it was so good. I cannot stop praising this arc. It's literally the best arc in my opinion.
It 100% is. In that one panel where you have her with her judging, with her hellfire going against disaster Yusung, and then the scales and no, the Ura, I think, was it Uriel that was the
Uriel, yeah.
Obviously saying the disaster in front of you, that's evil, straight up just evil. But you also have at the same time Dokja who can read, and then you have other people who are obviously thinking like, this is so fucking sad that we have to do this. But then this is what these scales see. This is what justice sees. That's evil. We have to kill her. It strikes. She strikes her. She strikes her. And then we get that one panel where obviously disaster Yusung goes down. And everyone is devastated. This is evil, but why do we feel this way? Because this is Yusung, the smaller one that we have next to us as well. And this is what could have been. And it's just, come on, it's just, Orbi is so good, Kemal. Oh my god. It is so good. That one panel.
They make it worse. They make it worse too, because afterwards, we have like this one-on-one, right? Like after
Junhyuk. Oh
yes.
Oh my god.
It gets so painful. It's like and this is whenever we really start to see Junhyuk start to like understand the consequences of his actions.
Yes, right? yes. We have been from the start getting that kind of little bit of character development of Junhyuk from being an arrogant main character to someone who can understand how other people around him react to him or how his actions have impacted others. But we really get to see it in this scene where in all these lifetimes that he has rejected Yusung, that they do this one last connection and he realizes what he's done to her.
Oh god.
And nothing is said out loud. Everything is in the thoughts. Everything is like it's in their eyes, you know.
Oh god, I'm actually
just thinking about it, make me cry. It was
me too.
She's like, oh my god. She's also accepted. She's like, I see, this is what it's come down to. Like, this is what it means. And he's like, and then they say their thank yous. They say their thank yous. And then,
yeah, they don't.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Okay, control feelings. Control feelings. And at that part where she's so close to disappearing, she's literally fucking Spider-Man disappearing in front of your eyes.
Dude,
Dokja
that's what I thought about.
Dokja comes along and Dokja says, he promises her 3 things. And one of the he promises that I'm gonna get you back. You're gonna come back to us no matter what it takes. You are going to be with us. And he makes that promise to her. And oh my god.
Dude,
oh my god.
I swear to god, it was probably the most emotional I have ever been in the entirety of this series. Because the look on Beast Lord Yusung's face.
She's so desperate, but she's not desperate to get those promises done. She's desperate just to be able to live and be with them, right? It's that desperation that's just like, it gets you.
She just wants the right to live. She wants the privilege to live.
She just wants to not have to go through all that pain. And it's in that moment, even with all those regressions that she's done, that she realized that it is a possibility, which is why it hurts so much and which is why she's feeling that connection and that pain. And she's feeling sad after all this time of blocking it out, where she realizes that there is a chance. But is it too late? That's something that she wasn't sure about. And I can't even imagine this becoming into an anime adaptation for that section alone. Because,
oh my god,
just thinking of that becoming an adaptation, it's gonna make me fucking cry, man. I can't do all that.
I will actually break down watching that scene.
God,
like, there's just no fucking way.
Just imagining it, man. Just imagining it. There's so many scenes that are just like, they really tug at your heartstrings in so many reasons. but that scene in particular is for sure going to get us and grab us by our balls twisted and not gonna fucking let go. Oh my god, I don't want my balls to be twisted. No, not my balls.
I don't,
Uh,
I don't want my balls twisted. No,
anything but my
please.
balls, anything but my balls, please, not my balls.
So you actually, do we know who's going to do the animation for the anime?
I think oh fuck, I forgot which company it is, but they did a previous one that had some really good reviews. They're also getting I'm not sure if it's confirmed, a live action adaptation too. I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but then I did see some teases of some potential actors and actresses that would go for it. But I think that some of them match really well. I just had to remember, like Lee Min-ho was one of them, and then there was also Jisoo from Blackpink, which is a little bit random, but I can see her as the character.
I thought that was crazy, to be honest. I was like, what?
Yeah. Oh man, if they were somehow able to reenact that same feeling that we feel just by reading the webtoon, then I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like this, the fact that it's coming out next year, the anime.
It's like, so, dude, it's right around the corner.
It's right around the
That is
corner.
crazy.
It's right around the corner.
Omniscient reader. Let's see what we got.
Oh my god.
Anime adaptation.
That Beast Lord arc was so freaking good. It was so freaking good. It was so freaking good. I will say though that there are some characters that we have not had enough information on yet, but I'm interested in knowing where they take them. I think that Yu Sung-ha, despite her having quite a role as the main protagonist squad, I don't think she's had much like story or as much character development as the other characters have.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that because Sung-ha, she's been with us from the start,
right?
But I still feel like I don't know a whole lot about her.
Yeah,
I mean, we know that she's really smart. She loves to study.
Yeah,
she's always trying to improve herself.
Yeah,
but we don't know anything about her past at all.
Yeah, we know that she has developed from someone who's a bit more passive and like uses her brains and what she knows to do good, and she develops into a character that kind of is adapting to the world where she is using her brains to do good, but just do good for herself, not for other people around her. She's not a people pleaser as she was in the past, but that's kind of, for me, I would say the only character development that I generally noticed about her. So I would be interested in seeing where they take Sangha's character. Yeah, I would be interested in knowing where they take her character.
I think it cut out again. What are you?
Oh no, I cut out. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, there you are. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, that's good.
I thought I cut out again. I was like, what happened?
Is there a particular character you really want to talk about their arc?
We kind of already have, because between Yu Sung and Haewon, honestly, those two are like the arcs that I love the most. There was the only other person that I would probably want to talk about is probably Hyun-sung, because I want to see more development from him. But even still, what we have gotten, especially whenever he inherits his
the steel
yes
armor. Oh my god, the fable for the steel armor. That was a really good arc.
Cool. But like I liked that we got to see some of his development, right? His character relationship with Haewon especially is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Because there's a point afterwards, after the Beast Lord arc. Because after the Beast Lord arc, everyone is kind of like, you can see it weighing on everybody. Because now everyone, before it was just kind of like Dokcha, that was Dokcha and Junghyuk, who were like mission oriented and they wanted to pass the. But now you start to see it on everyone's face. It's like, what are we doing these scenarios for? When is there going to be an end?
Yeah.
And there's this moment where we get kind of like, I would like to consider him kind of like a subplot villain, kind of. Do you remember the Karma guy? I
The
forgot
karma
what
guy?
I forgot what his name is. Hold on. But he's the one that is super obsessive about Junghyuk.
Oh, the reincarnator, right?
Yeah, the reincarnator. Yeah.
Look, he's the one that has like the entire cult because of his strength. He was like number 2 in the entire world. He's the one that started off as a bug or something, got eaten by a frog, became a frog in the next life, got eaten by a snake, got eaten by a serpent, became a serpent, and then as a serpent form got hurt by humans, got saved by Junhyuk in one of the lives, and in the next life became a human, and that human became another human, in next life became more humans, and just kept on all the memories of the previous world and built up a bunch of fables as all the lives that he lived in order to meet Junhyuk again.
Which is kind of insane when you really think about it, but at the same time, I feel like we didn't get what I was expecting out of this arc. Like, if I were to put like a label on this one, I would probably say like this is like one of the weaker arcs that we get, especially coming off of because I think that's whenever we're coming back from Peaceland.
That's when we're coming back from Peaceland, exactly. Because now we're introduced to like chaos amongst the human world because these divisions are being broken off, and there's a main party and the neutral lord, for example, going to that party, and all these smaller parties are being split around and they're scared because there is one big party that is trying to take over. And I do agree with you, that was probably one of the weaker arcs, which when I'm thinking about it, it was a really cool character concept, because also in the past when we were fighting a different disaster, there was a reincarnator that was there for like 10,000 years or something, and that guy was destroyed. So we had 2 instances of 2 different reincarnators with 2 different lifetimes, but they were both filler. I would say they were filler. They were not very important. Not that they're not important, but they weren't as important to the story, which is why they were weaker arcs in comparison.
I feel like it was one of those things where it felt like that arc in specific was important for like understanding the world a little bit more, and it was important for like it was important conceptually, right? Because like we still had to find like we were still trying to understand like what the 3 ways to survive the apocalypse were.
Right.
Like and at that time we knew regressor, we knew something else too. I forgot what the second one was, but now we were introduced to like the 3rd way, which was like the reincarnator.
Right.
And it basically turned out to be just like some yandere kind of like
yandere obsessive motherfucker that just wants to be one with me. That's what he said.
He literally wanted to be one with Junhyuk, and I was like, I'm like, look, I get it, I guess, but I don't. I will say it was really important because it really kind of drove home the rankings, because that's whenever they were like, you had to kill the most important, like the strongest
person in order for the scenarios to continue.
Yeah. So that's whenever we really start to understand that Dokcha at this point has really kind of exceeded what he had intended for himself. Like he was just trying to use his knowledge to survive, but we kind of see the start of, I guess, kind of like the consequences of all of his changes, right?
Right.
So it's important for like foundationally,
mm-hmm.
but overall, I could not get into that arc. It was one of those that was like, okay.
Yeah. I agree.
It's sad too because the design was really nice, I thought.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful design. Like the cult itself, like the bases of everything was just, it was so beautiful. Wasn't a very as strong as the other arcs that we've been through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was a really great concept. It was super interesting. It was super interesting. I liked it.
I guess we could go ahead and like ask or like answer questions and see like Because I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything that. Oh, that was his Nirvana Mobius. That's what his name was. I completely.
Oh yeah. I forgot that for a second too.
Yeah.
Hyunsung is the best girl. Hyunsung.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Hyunsung is the best girl. That's true. That's true. We root for
Dude,
Hyunsung. Oh God.
I loved whenever they were trying to get him to like earn get his stigma, and every Dokcha's because this is still in like the subway arc.
Yeah, the subway arc. The whole like the with Pildu during that time.
Yeah, Pildu.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually, you brought up a good thing I want to talk about too, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, but like, I thought it was just really adorable because Dokcha knows how to like make his stigma show up, but because he wasn't with Junghyuk, he had to figure out another way.
Right.
So he just made everybody in the party just go and compliment him and raise his confidence.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
It was so cute.
It was so cute. He needed that because I feel like one of his kind of. I think one of the characteristics about him is that I don't think he has much self-confidence.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of self-confidence in the start.
Yeah.
And then because of Dokcha doing that, he kind of reinforced the I think it's not necessarily what's the way I'm trying to say, like he got him to get past his trauma of like the bullet casing. So yeah. Like do you remember the military thing? It was like he was saying that Hyunsung lost a bullet casing at one point and he was reprimanded for it. Mm-hmm. And that became like one of the biggest things for him is that I'm never gonna lose another bullet casing. And that bullet casing was Dokcha. So I feel like Dokcha was really pivotal in bringing Hyunsung to who he is now. But 100%. I want to see him develop more a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see him develop past because we get the second part of his character development when he gets that fable for the steel armor, and he's fighting against Jung Hee-won, who was affected by the
Nirvana. That's right.
By Nirvana during that time. And the main thing of that scenario when he was going against Hee-won was that he wanted to save her, but how was he going to do it if it was not in the manual? It was not something that he was used to doing. The entire part for that was that this is not what he learned. What is the next option? What is the next option? What is the next option? And so when he heard from Dokcha during that time, where the only option now is to kill Hee-won, he kind of lost all reasoning and all rationality because this was not what he learned. This is not what he was taught. This is not what was drilled into him. And so he develops that ability to think for himself, which...
That was so... Honestly, it was one of those things that was a little heart-wrenching, and I think that's why I don't necessarily ship him with Hee-won, but I love seeing them together on screen.
Yes.
Like, I love seeing their character interactions with each other.
Yes. The relationship that develops, not necessarily relationship like romantically, but the relationship that develops between each character is very meaningful to how the character overcomes their trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Hee-won, for example, with male figures, obviously we know from the start why that happened. So being able to develop that relationship with Hyunsung, with Dokcha, she's overcome a lot. They've overcome a lot.
And that's why she's one of my favorites, to be honest. I love Hee-won so much. She's
oh good. She's such a great character. She's such a great character. Oh my god. I was so angry with Nirvana, of Nirvana's effect on her. I was so frustrated.
Dude, I was so scared. I thought she was gonna die. I was like, no, we can't.
Want to die. If Hee-won died, man, something inside of me would die with her. Oh my god.
I quit this webtoon. There's no reason for me to be here. I lost Yu Sung. Yeah. I'm not losing Hee-won too.
No. Oh my god.
That reminded me though. Because we were talking about Pildu, and I think that's something that we kind of talked about a little, or not talked about, something that they've kind of mentioned in the story. So, just to kind of like a quick summary, there's this organization, I guess, or like a faction that are called the 10 Evils. And they are essentially like, they build them up in the very beginning to be like this really like they're the big bads, right? Like they're the number one enemy. And we meet the first one in the subway meeting, and that's Pildu. He's basically just like a disgruntled old man who just wants to own his property. And there's like a reason behind that as well. That's his own like personal trauma. But after that incident with Pildu, we don't really see anything about the 10 evils until like the more recent chapters. And that's with, well, I say recent, but can't remember what chapter number it is, but that's whenever we start getting into like the demon castle. So we meet the ninth demon lord, and he turns out to be kind of, how do I or not demon lord, the ninth evil, but he kind of comes off as like a really quote unquote nice guy.
Wait, you may have to refresh my memory on this demon house, because I'm not remembering too well.
Okay, so essentially they arrive into like this demon castle, right? And they have to clear the first floor. This is, I think, after Dokcha's death, after the Peace Land arc, because he loses the King of No Killing.
Oh, that was after when he was in the 72 hours, and then while they were at the demon place, he was at the banquet, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yes,
the Constellation Banquet.
The banquet is another story after this. A banquet's another story after this. We gotta go through the house, go through the mansion, Oh my god, the banquet.
So essentially, like after the Constellation Banquet, Dokcha shows back up and meets back up with Jihi and who else is there? There's I think it's Yusung and Gilyang. It's basically all the kids.
Yeah.
And they have to clear the first floor of like this demon castle, which is part of the next main scenario. Well, after doing so, they reach the second floor, which is essentially where we start to learn that demons themselves can also be, or rather obtain, stories.
Yes,
like, quote unquote stories.
It's...
And this is where we start to learn like the importance of stories, what they are, what they mean. And I know some of you who are probably new to this series are like, what isn't a story? Well, just that, a story. I mean, yeah, but also it's so much more than that too.
Yep. Yeah.
But they clear the first floor, get past the demon who has his own story, and from there they have to figure out how to clear this next floor. Well, the problem with this floor is that nobody has passed it. Nobody has cleared it because they don't know how. But also, this floor is one of the rumored places that people can live outside of the scenarios. They can survive without having to kill people. And I forgot what the place is called, but it's run, basically the sanctuary-like place is run by the ninth evil. And we're already kind of like, whenever we first introduced to him, he is already kind of off. He gives us, like, to me, I don't know about anybody else, but like to me, he kind of gave off like this Gin Ichimaru vibes from like Bleach, because you kind of feel like he's smiling a lot. I don't like how he's smiling. Something's off with this guy.
A little suspicious. He's a little sussy.
Yeah, he's a little sussy. So I'm like, I don't know about this guy. Well, come to find out that he is apparently converting people into demons, and the demons that they're killing people on this floor are all former residents of Paradise. Paradise is what it's called. Thank you. So that's like the biggest conflict that we see involving, again, the 10 evils. But I'm not sure if we're ever going to see them again. Like, knowing the writer, right? Knowing the author of ORV, I know we're probably going to see them again. But, like, it's been so long. Think about it this way, right? This is the arc that is, like, right before Dokcha's, like, background arc. And also the, whatchamacallit, the current arc, the 73rd Demon King arc. between that
Mm-hmm.
and the subway arc where we first meet Pildu, one of the first 10 evils, that's so much has happened
So much has
between
happened. It is.
between then and now. So it's like, do we even really care about the 10 evils anymore? It's like, we clearly know there's more stuff out there. Like, dude, who are the 10 evils compared to these dudes?
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the only other thing. We got to talk about the Constellation Banquet next time. Like, that's...
my god, the banquet, the entire concept of the banquet was really cool because originally, it came out because he died and he had 24 hours. Which I forgot what reached out to him. It was Persephone, right? That was like, maybe we should. Oh, this is what it was. He was in this darkness, and constellations and fables were reaching out to him to accept their fable, to resurrect again, because they wanted him because he had no sponsors, right? And then that's what Persephone of Olympus is like. Maybe we should invite him to the banquet instead. We'll send an envoy, and that's when he starts going to the banquet. Enters the banquet, and then he meets how do you say his name again? The god of wine.
Dionysus.
Dionysus. That's when he meets him first. And he doesn't hear a true voice or anything, but he hears a voice. And then he gets dropped off. All this stuff, yada yada yada. Main thing is that Dionysus says, "Do not trust them." Who? We don't know. But he does not say to join Olympus as well, or to accept Olympus as the fable.
There's so much background just this alone, you would think like, oh man, this is huge spoilers. This is just the surface. We're just scratching the
my god.
There's so much subtext. Because like in order to kind of like go in depth about the Constellation Banquet, we would also have to talk about whenever Dokcha went into hell. He went into
the entire hell arc was so good. And speaking of which, Woodduck actually asked, speaking of evil, do you think Kim Na-woon is going to come back? And that's actually funny you say it, because we get 3 instances of meeting Kim Na-woon, which is the beginning with the subway, the first round of hell, and then the second round of hell when he goes back temporarily, and he informs him about the giant that they're creating, right? So with those in mind, do you think that Kim Na-woon would ever come back?
I'm really hoping, because I did not realize how much I was really a fan of Kim Na-woon. I think that's why I was so mad whenever he was killed, because I kind of liked him as a character. I won't lie, I like chuny characters. I myself am pretty chuny, I'm willing to admit. But we're both VTubers here. We're both a little chuny, but I like chuny characters. But we also get to see him whenever we are introduced to him again in the first time he's in hell. He's such a different person that it was just like, whoa, wait a second. Like, first of all, his hair is longer. He's like working on like slave stuff.
He's like actually willing to do stuff.
And it's so funny too, because he's sitting there, he's like, man, my life is great. I actually should thank you that you killed me, because all I do is work and then I could just do whatever I want. Like, I'm like, bro, is this the guy that we just met like in the first? There's no way.
Right? Oh my god. It was he
really got rehabilitated. I do hope he does come back, because I think it would be interesting to see him come back as a different, like more well-developed character. But also, I would like to see how he interacts with not Soo-young. Soo-young, because her constellation is the Abyssal Black Flame Dragon. Yeah, they have the same constellation. So I want to see them interact with each other. Yes. I want to see how that would go over, because like I think it would be a really interesting character dynamic, because I feel like Soo-young is who Nam-won could become, right? Or sorry, I have it backwards. Like Nam-won could have been Soo-young if she hadn't met Dokcha.
Yes,
right?
I agree. Because when we met her, she was posing as somebody else, had that whole entire arc where she was, trying to fool him, kill him, all this like path of destruction stuff. So she was going on a destructive path because she thought she knew everything. And I think that that was the same path that she would have gone with if Namun was there. If Namun was there, or if Dokja wasn't there, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I really think that that's something I would like to see. Right? It's like I would love to see Namun interact with Sooyoung. I think that would be fun.
I agree. Also, I sent you a tier list, a mini tier list. This is one that I found of some characters. So she said character tier list. I think that we should quickly do one, and we can see what we think of the certain characters that we have available here. You be down to do it?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and do it.
All right. So let me go ahead and move our characters a little bit. So I'll move myself here, and I'll move this Fuki over here a little bit. All right, so the first character we have is one of the Dokkaibis. I forgot which one this was actually. When did we meet this red one?
Oh wait, so this is I completely forgot. Oh my god, I completely forgot about them actually. So we meet them after Dokcha's Dokkaibi. They are starting to pop off at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their star stream is starting to get so many viewers, so much traction, and this is apparently the I guess this is like the Markiplier of like all the Dokkaibi, I guess.
The most viewed one or something, right? The one.
Yeah, they're like the most viewed one. So that's what I was like. They're like the Markiplier or like Jacksepticeye. They're like the big content creator of the Star Stream, right?
Right.
And ultimately their interaction ends up going to be like he was trying to poach Dokcha, but what ended up happening was that he live streamed everything from a Dokkaibi's room, his room, and then said, I actually don't want this, or no, I actually am gonna end up taking all of your people and bringing them to my Dokkaibi's channel. And the way he did it, hold on. Oh god. Sorry, the ad on the tier list started.
It's all good. I also changed the tier list to S, A, B, C, D, and then bad. I think this makes more sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. But no, yeah, basically, I lost my train of thought because of the ad. Right. So this is where Dokcha is like, if we get my Dokkaibi's star stream to 100 views, then I will pick one of you guys as my supporting constellation. And he ends up poaching all of this dude's viewers. They lose all of their power, and his Dokkaibi ends up becoming like the most viewed. He was like, in the grand scheme of things, he really wasn't much of a big bad, but we kind of get the idea that like there's other like goblins and stuff in the Star Stream.
Okay. I think I need to reread that part because I don't remember him too well. So
it is so brief.
Yeah, not that significant. Where would you put this guy?
I wanted to punch him in the face, so like, I guess
bad.
Bad
He goes. Let's put him in bad.
Yeah, bad.
Our boy Hyun-sung. Our boy Hyun-sung is next.
Oh, actually no. You know what? Goat. 100% goat. Putting him in goat. I was gonna put him in S plus.
In S plus, yeah, he's goat. He's definitely top tier. Beyond Sanga. Okay, Sanga. A bit controversial. I would put her in A because, like we said before, that we haven't really experienced too much of her background and character development as much as the others. So I don't feel as connected to this character's story as I do with the other ones. I'm not saying she's a bad character at all. I just don't think she's as well fleshed out as the other ones are, in my opinion.
I agree. I feel like A would actually be pretty generous. I would probably say like A or B.
Oh,
because
B. That's very controversial.
Well, don't get me wrong. She's really pretty, especially whenever we get to like. So the Hell arc.
Oh.
So the Hell arc is so funny because the Persephone thing.
Oh my god. Oh, she was so hot in those as Persephone.
She was so
She was
hot.
so hot as Persephone. Oh my god, I was sweating.
I feel like unfortunately, she's kind of getting to that point where it's like she's bordering on like only eye candy, and I'm like, no, please, she
Yeah.
can be so much better.
I
She could be so broken. She has literally all of Olympus as her supporting constellation.
Olympus. She is the, and Olympus doesn't go around choosing just any random person. She was chosen for a reason. Like she has all the strength, all this knowledge. She's the brain and the beauty, and she has the strength. It's just there's so much to this character that they can do, but we're just not getting that character arc. I think the most important thing is that every main character so far has had an arc that differentiates them from an NPC, that kind of transforms their weakness to a strength. But I don't think we got that point with Sanga yet.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's kind of like the thing that would bring her over that edge, is that we need to know more about her. We need to be able to, I guess, empathize with her, because right now they are really keen on drawing this division, especially in the most recent chapters.
Mhm.
They like drawing the division between story characters
Mhm.
and real life characters.
Oh, that was also a really interesting point, because there are some points where we actually see some characters that are real life characters being turned into storyboard characters, and this happens with 3 people so far. It's with the 2 people that he meets in the station, with the guy with one of the kings who does all like the programming and hacking stuff. The 2 characters that are originally real life characters being turned into NPCs, and then the character in Peaceland, Ren, the one who made up Peaceland in the first place, becoming a character of the story.
That was the craziest one. Was seeing Ren turn into an NPC essentially.
No,
She forgot
everything. That is
It
insane.
was
I can't wait for them to flesh out more about like why, how, and this is really like bordering on again the 4th wall, because now you're not sure if like where lines are drawn and what's going on, like all this crossing over, all these overlaps. Like it really confuses you as a reader, but it also confuses Dokja as a reader as well, thinking that he knew everything, but you know, all this development is so fresh. It's so crazy.
Yeah, we still have so much. Can you believe that I don't even think we're like halfway through. I feel like we've gotten to like a really pivotal point in the story.
In Dokja's story.
But we still have so much left to go.
Oh my god, we do.
I'm gonna put her in. I feel like I'm gonna put her in B.
In B?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put her in B.
You know what? I'll do the same. I'll say she's in B. With what we said, I think that B would be good.
Alright.
The next one is that Dokja? Wait, why is there like 2 Dokjas? There's 2 Dokjas here. There's 2 Sangas here.
Oh wait, you're right. Wait a second. So I guess it's like they're separating it by like
arcs, maybe.
I think it's like pre-time skip and post-time skip.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. This is this post? I can't tell with this one.
I can't either. I think that's pre-time skip Dokja.
Maybe we skip that one for now.
Yeah.
This one's Namoon.
Namoon, my baby boy.
Namoon.
Man, this is hard because like again, I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the Chuny. But then we meet him in like Hell Arc, and I'm like, oh wait, he's actually kind of cool. He's kind of
yeah.
I think I'm gonna put him, as much as I like him, I think I'm gonna put him in C, right?
Yeah,
because
he's gonna be below Sangha for sure. But he's not a trash tier. He's not a D tier.
No, he's not D tier at all. Like his introduction was like kind of, again, it was intentionally like roll your eyes worthy type stuff. But that's kind of like the whole point of like the Chuny trope, right? You want to make people roll their eyes at the Chuny.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I would say like C, especially considering later on.
I agree. I'll put a C. All right, the next one is Abyssal.
Wait, they have constellations on here too.
Constellation, the ones that stayed with let's say with Dokja since the beginning. You know, I can't say anything bad about this guy. I mean, this guy is a constellation, but he's taking on the role of two different people. He has Namun, but he also at the same time has
that's true.
he has it's two different characters, right? Even though there is a potential for the characters to have been the same, Soo-young took on a different path because of Dokja. And then Namun we met as like the whole essence of what the Abyssal thought they would be. Arrogant, strong, loud, them first. This is what the Abyssal Dragon was meant to be.
Yeah.
But then, so it's
I guess technically, C, when you put it that way, I mean, yeah, I would probably put him in C, but something about, I don't know, there's a moment with Soo-young that makes me think he's honestly just kind of D tier because he's more of a punchline. But there's a moment where he's talking about, Dokja's talking about how he can become a constellation.
right.
And we'll talk about that some other time. But
Oh my god, there's so much to go into.
There's so much to go through. But he's talking to like Soo-young about becoming a constellation, and then she realizes that like, oh wait, I could have been that. Are you telling me you're not the strongest constellation?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's so funny seeing their dynamic because it's like we know as readers that like he is not the strongest at all. Like he's at, if anything, kind of like an edgelord, but maybe like B tier power, right? But Soo-young, sorry, it's funny her admiration for him. Like, she's talking up and down about how he's the strongest, how he's so cool. I can't wait to be in their constellation. And then we're just like, ooh.
Yeah, he is a punchliney type of constellation in the end.
Yeah. I'll probably say like C. I feel like
I'd say C as well. I'd say C, just over Namun.
All right.
Yeah.
Uriel next.
Oh, Uriel is so good. And Sushi's out here saying demon like Judge of Fire, demon like Judge of Fire. I did not expect Uriel's like one of the mediums to be such a cute girl.
Bro, she's so I squealed so much.
She's so cute. She is so cute.
And we'll talk about her more at the Constellation Banquet. Oh my god, I can't.
Yes. I think that we have to leave Constellation Banquet to another stream though.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've been already going.
We've been yapping for almost 3 hours.
And we haven't even like gotten to a lot of the new.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. I would put Uriel as B tier. I put her under Sanga.
Oh.
Where would you put it? Is it controversial? Where would you put Uriel?
Oh no, man. I would put her at like, if I'm gonna put her in B, I would put her above Sanga. But I feel like she's definitely like A tier, like for sure. I'm feeling like putting her in A.
Do you feel like putting them in A because they have a more sense of justice? Like for example, they did provide their spot, like they did what's the word called? They did provide their support for when Dokja and Junhyuk wanted to become, a thing. Or is it because they're cute, or is there a reason to an A tier for them?
A tier because she wants them to be a ship so fucking bad.
Damn it. This guy is all about the ships. Whatever, put your shit A tier. Whatever, let's go to the next one. Secretive plotter.
Alright, secretive plotter.
I'm interested. I want to put him in A because I'm interested. I'm very intrigued by this character.
I'm curious, yeah. I would put them in A as well because like this, out of all the characters that we don't know anything about, this is the character that we know the least about.
Yes. And as his name said, secretive plotter. I am very curious as to how they're gonna take it. There is a section of the banquet where they're waiting for constellations to support them, and the secretive plotter was one of the ones that tipped them over the edge because they silently provided that sponsor for them. So where is this going? Like, what is this character gonna do? What is this constellation gonna do? It's been
what are they plotting?
What are they plotting secretly? You know what I mean?
you see, you get what I mean?
Oh my god.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
It is good. It is good. I am very interested in knowing more about this guy. I am very interested.
Me too.
All right,
I'm gonna put
next
him
one.
under Uriel though.
Yeah. Okay. This is old golden headband. Where is
Bro.
he? This guy is so funny. This guy from the start has wanted Dokja so fucking badly.
So
This guy
badly.
has always wanted Dokja no matter what. I want to put him A.
I'm honestly thinking about putting him in S because the entirety of the like that we see him, he's one hilariously he is so immersed in Dokja's story, bro.
Oh, 100%.
He's like, if I were to say there was an audience stand-in for anybody in Orb, it's probably
it would be him.
It would be him because he's like he's so on the edge of his seat with Dokja's story. But he's also really reasonable too, and especially
100%.
again the Constellation Banquet, bro. His incarnation, his body that he uses.
Oh, he's so high. He's so high.
He's so high.
He's so high. He's so high. It's just
Bro,
so high. He's so
he opened
high.
the door, and I was like, brother.
I think that if there's if a constellation would be a person in the series, that he would be the one that is most like Dokja's. If Dokja was less rational, I think that he is very much on the side of good, right? Good lawful to good chaotic kind of thing, but not neutral and not evil either, or not like he's chaotic, but he's not evil. He's on the side of good for sure. And so a lot of
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Because there are some parts where he's kind of like he's playful, and there was a part where he actually sponsored coins when Dokja was beating up that one Dokkaebi, and then he actually sponsored some coins because he's like, yeah, go fucking beat him up, and Dokja's like, no, this is not a game, like this is for reals, and he felt shame for what he had done by sponsoring.
Right, he rejected them.
Yeah. So he has a sense of rationality, and he is capable of changing opinions and thoughts, and he's capable of kind of feeling what a human feels, kind of thing. I think that he's definitely the most human-like out of all the constellations that we experienced.
I agree, and I think that also kind of like comes down to his actual like lore and story.
Yeah, 100%. There's so much that we can say about like different constellations and their actual background to their fable.
Yeah, and
oh my God.
I love how faithful it is to like they're so creative.
It is
with
so
how
creative.
they use their stories. It's not just like copy paste like most stories do. They leverage those fables so well.
Yes. Oh my God.
So yeah, I would definitely put him in S.
I put him
he's
in S.
really...
I put him in S. I like him too. I really like him.
All right, who's this? Is that Jung? Yeah, that's Junghyuk.
That's Junghyuk?
I think so. And I
Dude,
don't.
What the fuck? Don't you get glasses? When? What the fuck?
Wait,
glasses? This guy has glasses, no? Am I
no,
bugging?
I think a little bit. I don't think he has glasses. I think that's just
those are glasses.
No, he's just glaring.
Are you sure?
I think so. I think that's Junghyuk because I don't see him anywhere else on here.
Okay, controversial. Junghyuk as high B. High B.
That is a lot more than I would have given.
You put him lower?
I think I would actually end up putting him in like D. Like high C, low C. Like yeah.
Holy shit, that is low.
Bro, there's just been so many times that he's just like intensely pissed me off.
Holy, well, this it's also for a reason. I think that as readers, what we want to realize about the character is that this guy is a main character. He is the main protagonist. He is in control of his own world, and he has gone through so many things, so many lives, and he retains those memories, and he keeps doing the same thing over again because it works for him and him only. You know, that's what the author would want us to know as readers. So it
Still an
is.
asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that's not gonna. He's still an asshole. He's still a fucking asshole no matter what. But
And plus,
love.
I will never forgive him for what he did for Yu Song. That is
Oh,
that is
true.
something that I
That
have to
is
live
true.
with. Nah, I'm gonna give him. You know what? You convinced me. He's gonna be low C now. He's gonna go even further.
Damn, what the fuck? This guy keeps going down. There's no saving him. I think that the reason why I put him as B because I think that he himself realizes that he has the ability or he has this chance to develop himself as a character. And there's that one part where Dokja tells him that you're going to live this life no matter what. You're going to live this life through. And I think that has caused him to change his decision on some things and how he thinks of certain people.
Yeah, that's true. He has admittedly, he has had a lot of development. I'll give him that, especially in that arc where he was like, all right, I'll just regress and call it a day.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'll take it for the world. I'll be selfless. I'll kill myself
Yeah,
to save
and
everyone.
The thing that pissed me off about that was just like he self-aggrandized, just offing it and just trying again.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I get he's so desensitized by it.
Yeah.
But the thing that it's the fact that it's the attitude for me. It's like it's his tone, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, I get him, I understand him, but I can't vibe with him. Especially after Yu Song.
Yeah. You know what? I'll put him as lower B then. I'll put him as low B. Alright, next one is the Dokabi that's been with us since the start as well. I like him. I think he's gotten a character change.
I like him.
You know
what's crazy?
What?
I think he's gonna be higher
No
than
way.
Jungkook.
No way.
Dog, I think I'm gonna put him higher than. I'm not trying to be controversial. I swear I'm not.
Dude.
But like, I like him more than Abyssal Flame Drag. Actually, I like him more than Jungkook. I like him a little less than Abyssal Flame. So, but he's not bad, so I can't put him in D.
I put him in C. I see.
See, that's the reasonable choice. I understand I'm being really I'm being a little unreasonable. I'm a little shocked by that one as well. But no, I think I like him more than Jungkook.
Okay.
Who the fuck is this?
This is the first mob that he meets when they go into the train station.
Oh.
For the bad guy, level D character.
Yeah.
D for me does not have any. It's not relevant.
I didn't he's not really relevant at all. I don't dislike him enough to put him in bad, actually. I thought about it.
The only reason of him being there was for Dokja to realize that these people are just trying to survive. Doesn't excuse what he did though, so he's bad.
Yeah, exactly. He's still bad, but like definitely I didn't want to punch him in the face as much as these other characters. That's bad is like that level of bad for me. Like that's the tier that I'm considering right there. Like how badly did I want to like jump through the screen and punch him in the face, you know?
I already see one of them that I really want to do that for, so
yeah, I know, me too.
Oh my god. That's S tier, right next to you. It says S tier. She's so S tier. He1 is so S tier no matter what. So S plus if I could. Everything about He1.
I've said everything I need to say about He1. And honestly, I'll say it again. She is such a good character. I love her so much.
He1 is such a good character.
And her outfits are probably some of the best outfits in the entire show.
Yup.
Or not show, in the entire webcomic, sorry.
I agree.
Let's see. Gilyoung. He's cute. But
I'd be interested in knowing more. I think he is above. I would say he is above Song. But I think he's a high B. I don't think he's at the tier of S and A yet. But I do like
his powers are very cool.
It's very cool.
I feel like there's something different about him. Like I don't know how to put it, but it kind of feels like, and I don't mean any offense whenever I say this, but it kind of feels like he has been like the audience stand-in for neurodivergent readers, and
Oh.
I feel like he's kind of been like that audience stand-in for that type of reader, and I'm always for seeing more characters like that. I like seeing respectful representations of neurodivergency. So I would like to see more from Gil Young, of course, because we don't know a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But just from what I know already, I would probably put him above Sungha.
I agree. I would too. I would be very interested in seeing stuff. I think the one thing that I was curious about is, I don't know if they mentioned it, maybe I just completely forgot about it, is how he has that connection with bugs in the first place. I don't know if it was explained, or maybe I just somehow
So that's actually what leads me to think that he might be neurodivergent, is because in a lot of media, they portray neurodivergency as interest in peculiar either or like against normal conventions or just standardly unconventional interests, right? And more often than not, it's usually portrayed or depicted with like bugs and like an interest in bugs.
oh, that's interesting.
So I feel like that's kind of, they haven't outwardly said anything about neurodivergency or talked about his past or his interest in bugs, but I think that's one of those that is kind of the subtext that's there that the writer and the creator wants us to know. And again, I'm all for that. I love seeing more respectful representations of neurodivergency. So I would like to see more. I do also want to know who his constellation is, because we don't know that either.
No, that's never mentioned. It's not mentioned. I also was thinking that the reason of his trauma was why he focused his attention onto insects, because they don't hurt him in the same way, you know? And I
Could
thought
be that too, yeah.
I think I would be interested in seeing where his story goes, and also how the author chooses to portray him.
Also, I love the little infighting that he has with Yusung. It is
it's so cute. It is so cute. It's just kids being kids. Kids being kids, but also having that role model with them.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It's like it's like seeing them fight for the attention of the older brother, right?
Yeah, it's so sweet. It's so sweet.
It's so cute. This is another Dokebi.
Yeah, this one I think it appears once.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on. Oh my god, do you see who the next one is?
Put him in fucking trash immediately. I'll break through his screen. I'll punch him in the face right now. Oh god.
I'd do it right now.
I hate this guy.
Dude, he was so fucking annoying. Manager Go is the worst.
Manager Go is the worst. He's so annoying.
Wait, is that that's the monster that got him cursed to death too?
Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one that got him cursed.
I'll put him in D just for that. It's just a little bit above him, just making sure, you know.
That's crazy, but you know what? I agree.
Yeah. This guy is trash. This guy is trash. This is the charismatic leader of the fucking train station who caused all that issues. And the reason why Hyun is the way that she is. I hate this guy so much.
I have never. He was one of those people that I immediately hated, but I've never wanted to punch somebody so fast in the face.
Yep.
Like there's just not enough hatred in the world for this guy.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
And he doesn't even fight for himself either. Like he doesn't. There's a moment of conflict, but he doesn't do anything, and it's just I can't feel catharsis entirely, because I did kind of want it. There's like, yeah, Haewon got what she wanted, right? Like she was able to grow past her trauma because of her growing into her stigma. Mm-hmm. But I would have been more satisfied if she had been the one that cut him or something, right? Or like who had actually done the work. I don't think she actually got to him specifically.
Oh, didn't she?
Or at least
I thought she did. She was
she?
like the final one that head got cut off.
I might not remember, but I remember her going through all of the other randos,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember him. If that's the case, then yeah, then never mind. I'll take back what I said, but I can't remember too well. But no, yeah, punch him in the face.
Yeah. Punch him in the face. Get rid of him right now.
Get him out of here. Oh, that's G. Dude, she's so funny.
Yeah, she's really funny. She's high schooler. She's a high schooler girl, you know.
I loved that she is able to interact with the group with Dokcha's party as like a high schooler now.
Yeah.
Because very, very early on, she's super serious. She's kind of chuny, but after her character development with like the naval warship arc at the cinema dungeon, oh my god. It was not only was that a cool scene, but I love that she's able to actually just hang out with the group now. She feels. Have you ever watched One Piece?
Not a lot of it. I don't. It's been a long time since I watched it.
Okay, so there's a scene, and any One Piece enjoyer knows this scene, where Robin is taken into custody by the government, and Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats come to save her, right? And she basically, Luffy gets her to admit with herself, like her whole chest in tears, that she wants to live and travel the world with Luffy. And that scene is so powerful. But it's so important because like after that she becomes actually part of the group, right? And I feel like that's kind of what Ji's moment is that she kind of goes through that similar transformation where she overcomes that trauma and is able to be a part of the group. Because like my favorite moment with her is, do you remember the black dress that Persephone wore?
Yeah.
So later on, I think Dokcha had died at some point, and Sangha gets the dress from Persephone because they're trying to figure out who Dokcha loves the most, right? Because of his prophecy.
Oh yeah, when she was like, "Is it me?"
Yeah, she's like, "Is it me?" And then they're like, "Oh my god, we have this little gadget that will give you a percentage to see how much Dokcha loves you."
That was so funny.
It was so good, but it gets to Jihi, and she's so stupid about it because she's like, "It's obviously me. You guys don't even have to worry about it. Like, I know it's me. I'll make sure that I never kill Dokcha."
It was so funny. It was so funny.
It's so good. But yeah, I would put her like high. I would say either high B or high A for me.
I put her a high A, so I don't think she's an S tier, but I think she's a high A.
Yeah, she's definitely a high A. Okay, this one. This one's a little, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's hard to kind of like get a read on her because I feel like what we know about her, we just are told.
Yeah.
Because this is, I can't remember her name, but this is Junhyuk's like former lover.
Yeah, it's the poison lady.
Yeah, it's the poison lady. And
wait, there's two instances of her. Is that her pre
I think
pre of the thing taking over her?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like pre and post, because like the red eye, I think is whenever she was being taken over, and then the second one is afterwards, I guess. When
she's saved or whatever.
Yeah.
We should.
I don't know. She's kind of.
Yeah, I don't think I know much about her to rate her very well. I'm gonna make another roll. This one is.
That might be best. Unsure. Yeah, because I don't have any feelings for her.
Yeah, I don't feel negative or positive towards her. I think that she's not a very important character, but maybe she was an important character to one of the characters. But she's not important enough to the story. Like if you remove her from the story, I don't think much is gonna change.
That's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did that because I was just gonna put her right next to Junhyuk, and I don't know.
No, I don't think she has as much relevance. Like I can say this for a few characters here that they don't have any relevance to the story. But it's not like a positive or negative like feeling towards them. Is this
Yeah,
this
I agree.
one Pildu?
Yeah, that's Pildu, I think. Yeah, because he's got the receding hairline. I know that hairline anywhere.
I kind of feel like Pildu is next to the Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah,
I don't
because
mind this character.
I don't mind him either, and we know enough about him to like have character judgment, and especially in the Peaceland arc. Right?
Oh yes, oh yes.
He's so important, but I don't know. It like I want to see more of him. He's funny. He used to be a big bad. I don't know. I think like right next to Abyssal Flame Dragon would be fair.
Yeah.
Who is this?
That's the one of the insects. It was the insect and then the wolf. Remember?
Oh, right. The avatars. That's
Yeah,
right.
the avatars. She's the one that took over the poison lady's body. I also don't have feelings towards her as well because I understand where she's coming from, where she's trying to protect her world, but she was brought to this world not knowing, and then it's not like she's doing anything particularly bad, besides killing people. But like I think
No, that seems kind of bad.
I know it is bad, but in her own reason, she was doing it for herself and for her colony, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And they were also brought into this place like out of their own will. Like,
oh, is that her name, Lee Solhwa? I think that's.
Oh, Lee Solhwa is a poison lady. That's a poison lady.
Yeah, that's the poison lady. Okay, yeah, that's her name. That's
Lee
right.
Solhwa.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
That was great. I'm gonna put her as unsure as well.
Yeah, I feel like I would if I'm gonna put her in unsure though. I'm gonna put her above Solhwa though, because I feel like even then, right? I feel like her motivation as a character, we understand it enough to be able to at least know that about her, right? Like I get her, I know enough about her, so I feel like because of that, I would be able to put her a little bit higher than Solhwa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then this is the first disaster that we meet. Quite literally, he is a disaster.
I would not put him as bad. I would not put him as bad.
I'm honestly gonna give him like the biggest D rank that I could probably give anybody, because he's really important in terms of establishing the disasters and what they're capable of. But outside of that, it just feels like we just have an isekai Namwoon.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
So, but I like him less than Namwoon. So
I agree.
I feel like I'm gonna give him the fattest D rank I could ever give anybody. So
I'll do the same. I agree with that ranking. You she goes right next to Hyunsung for me. Right on top, S tier for me.
Yep. Oh, they're so cute. God, I'll never get over that character, guys. I swear to God.
Arc
read ORV. Read ORV.
Please.
Get to the Beast Lord arc.
Oh God.
And let me know what you guys think. My God, it is.
Please do.
So is the best arc of the entire series right now.
Yeah, it is.
In my
really
opinion,
good arc. It is amazing. Is this another Kim Dokcha?
I was thinking that too. That looks like Dokcha, but I'm not entirely sure which one.
Let's skip that because the Dokcha at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, the third guy is one of the ones. One of the ones they meet at the train station. That is
He's like one of the.
He's a filler character.
Faker. Yeah, he's a filler character, but he's also like, what do they call him? Prophets? No, not prophets.
One of the ones who initially told him about people getting off the novels.
Yeah, they're the ones.
He's
like one of those people.
Yeah, one of those people.
Yeah.
The bottom of unsure.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in unsure too because we don't get a whole lot of him. She's
ruler of beauty.
okay, so firstly, she's adorable, yes, but also I think it's so funny that the first thing that we learn about her is that she falls in love with Jung-hyuk
Yeah.
because of him being really cold and mean to
Yeah,
her.
really mean to her point. God, she likes that kind of thing.
And yeah, she absolutely like because Doksha does the same thing. And then he was like, wait, no, there's no way. She's not in love with me now, right? And then we get this panel where this picture is from. It is so funny. I like her. I would probably put her in low B if I'm honest.
Oh, interesting.
Because like we see her quite she's really important in the whatchamacallit?
Oh,
the
yeah.
King of Soul arc, right?
Yeah.
So she does a lot of setup. But she's also really reasonable and she helps Dokcha quite often.
That's true. You see her come back in multiple instances. Oh, and right before meeting Nirvana.
Yeah, exactly. So the only thing is like I feel bad because she's one of those characters that was really well, I wouldn't say really important, but she had a very critical role, right? She had a critical role in the story. But then later ended up becoming just kind of an exposition character because she was constantly getting like beat up by the next big bad, right? Yeah. So I want her to kind of like have her comeuppance or whatever they're called, because I feel like she deserves more as a character.
I agree.
All right, who's this? Oh wait. So this is also because of the King of Thrones, or not King of Thrones, King of Soul Dome arc. Whenever we first learn that whatchamacallit, constellations end up reenacting their fables.
Oh, was he the one that fought against the queen, the ruler of beauty?
Yeah, he was the one who fought against her, but it was her like right hand guy.
Yeah.
And they end up bringing up this constellation level event where they basically reenact their fable through their incarnation.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
It was so interesting. But he himself as a character, I don't know how to feel about him.
Again, no negative feelings, but no positive feelings either. I'm putting it as unsure.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in unsure.
It's not bad. Like I thought that what he offered, like you said, that moment was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this next guy.
This guy's just one of those kind of, again, he's one of those characters that is a joke, kind of.
Yeah. Also a little bit filler. But he also ends up fighting alongside Kim Dokcha as well. He's also a character that was not meant to survive.
Yeah, that's true.
During Yusung's arc. So him, the ruler of beauty, these are people that were not meant to survive this long, but somehow they did.
It's cool.
I would say I had positive feelings towards him. I would say that he is under the reincarnated for me in D tier.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I would put him there because I don't really have a lot of other feelings for him, really. Oh, I put him in bad by accident. Whoops. Oh. He's just kind of like one of those one-off jokey characters. Yeah. It feels like, but he also has the same problem as the King of Beauty, who they just keep getting one-upped. Like the enemies are just too strong now at this point.
Right. This next one dies.
Did he die?
Yeah, he dies when we're in that room. He gets his head cut off.
That's right. What? That's surprising that he's even here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him as unsure above the other guy, but
yeah,
I don't have any feelings towards him. He's all right.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna put him underneath him though.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do the same. Doesn't really contribute anything really.
Yeah. And then this guy is another one of the prophets.
Yeah, below. Unsure.
Yeah, I would probably, and it sucks too because like he you think he gets kind of like a decent character arc, but he kind of gets undercut a little bit.
Yeah,
But
so
the
he's always
craziest,
paired with someone else.
yeah, he's always paired with like this dude with like gold chain.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing about it is that he stayed relevant, right? Like he and the guy in chains would occasionally pop up, and it was always at those moments where Dokja needed information, right? Like they were basically his informants. But I had honestly completely forgotten about them at that point.
Same.
So I was like, oh damn, they're still around.
Yeah, and they both became characters too, so.
Yeah. I don't know who this is. Wait, is this the Internet King guy?
He looks like it.
I can't tell who that is.
I'm not sure about this character, so I'm gonna put him as unsure.
Yeah, let's go with, because I don't know who that is. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not very. There's not much.
Oh,
this
guy.
Is this the Taoist or is it someone else?
No. So this one is okay. So this is the King arc still, right?
Uh-huh.
He was the biggest big bad of the King of Soul arc.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
He was the one that was like on the writing on the thing. Was that the one?
Yeah. He had like the red, like what was it? Yeah. So I think he was really cool. He was a really good introduction to like actual villainy, right? And also my headcanon is that he would be voiced by what's his name? The guy who voiced Grimjow and Sukuna from JJK.
I can see it.
I feel like he would definitely be voiced by him, and you know what? That alone is enough to get him into like high, like I would say like low B, high C for me.
Oh, I put him as unsure for myself.
I'm gonna put him up there for like low. He's kind of cool. He's a really good villain, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my girl.
Oh my god. Where would you put her?
Tsuya. I'm gonna definitely put her in S tier. I think I'm gonna put her next to. Oh, this is hard because like.
Oh.
Do I like her more than Hyunsung? Do I like her more than Hee-won?
Oh.
Do I like her? I think I'm gonna put her up there with Hee-won, Hyunsung, then it's Soo-young, and then Yu-sung. Yep, that I like that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put her. She's definitely top 3 of S tier.
Okay. The next one is the Neutral Lord, Neutral King. I kind of hate him. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of hate him, but I kind of like him at the same time because he's playing the role of a politician, right? Because he's like, what's the word called? He takes sides as needed to benefit himself, but at the same time he also doesn't take sides because he doesn't want to be involved in type of conflict.
Yeah, I think I still want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, because of what he did with siding with Nirvana, that I think I'd want to punch him in the face as well.
I think actually,
I'll put him as D tier.
Like that moment, I'm gonna put him in bad because like that was the moment that I actually stopped sympathizing for him. But he also kind of grew on me, right? Because he did something to ensure his own survival. But in that same moment, he created a character for himself at that point, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll at least put him up higher than like the other two, right? Because
okay, that makes sense. Oh, also, I have a viewer, Babsa, that just asked, why is Lee Gil-young in B tier? Shall we explain again?
So, Gil-young we put in B tier because we just don't know a whole lot based off of the his backstory just yet. Like, I love him as a character. He is adorable, and I love him up to now for his character growth. But I want to see him do more. especially like with the more recent chapters, like we know he's capable of a lot. We know he's strong, but we don't have enough information about him just yet, right? Everything that we know is just kind of speculation at this point. So yeah, that's just kind of where at least that's where I feel like he would be. But otherwise, he's just adorable.
Oh, this is just the manhwa chapters. This is what I read. I haven't read the light novel yet, so I think the light novel has expanded much more than just the manhwa. I also really love Gil Young's character a lot. I love his relationship with other characters. I love his ability to adapt to the world. And I think his power is super cool. I think it's just a matter of just wanting to know more about him. But I think that overall he's a fantastic character. We love Gil Young here.
Yeah, we love Gil Young. It's just that we want more, and the manhwa just hasn't given us more.
We're just needy. We're needy readers who want to know more.
Yeah, we're really needy.
Alright, the next one is the Dokkaebi that I hate this guy.
Fuck
this guy. Fucking trash. This guy is below trash. Well, this guy goes above this guy. Like, he goes above, but he's still trash.
He's still the trashiest of the trash.
He is trash.
We will never forgive him.
He's trash. That Dokkaebi sucks. This guy I don't recognize, actually. Where is he?
There's so many odd characters that I don't recognize. Like, some of them, it's so weird because like I'm looking at our unsure tab now, and I'm like, a lot of these characters I want to have opinions on, and then there's like right next to characters that I
don't have opinions on at all. They don't barely
Yeah,
appear.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is the bully guy.
Like Minwoo or something?
I think it's like Minwoo or something like that.
Yeah. He's above the Dokkaebi, but he's still bad. He's still a trash character.
Really? You have him above the Dokkaebi?
I have him above the Dokkaebi only because like I think the importance of him is this is the first case of trauma that we see for Kim Dokja, and that's how Constellations start sympathizing with this main character and realizing this is a human in the end who has feelings, because throughout all this time we have the fourth wall that doesn't shake, but this is the moment where it does shake. So I think that there is some importance of him being there, and his actions are bad, but they're not worse than what the Dokkaebi and the other guy has done.
That's okay. That's fair. Yeah. I still remember vividly how I felt whenever I saw that panel. It was just the fourth wall is shaking violently.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Now we're thinking like maybe this is not in fact like a super overpowered thing.
Exactly.
Again with the fourth wall, getting after the Nirvana arc where there's that one sentence that says, maybe one day that fourth wall, and maybe I could be taken in by that fourth wall. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, that was
fucking god.
Huge.
That was insane. Again, if that part gets animated, I don't even know what I would think. Like, oh, it's giving me goosebumps, you know?
I tried looking up who the studio is too, but all I know is that Aniplex has the license for it.
Okay, we'll see.
So does Crunchyroll. I want to know who. If it's the same studio who does Solo Leveling, we're gonna eat so well. We're gonna be eating so well.
I'm very excited. All right, the next one is the Taoist. That's next. That's with the King of the Wanderers. I actually like her quite a bit.
I liked her, but then she kind of went off to the side a little bit. But she's still really cool.
She's a lot of loyalty.
I feel, yeah, definitely. I would probably put her like low B, to be honest.
Low B? That's pretty high, actually. Low B?
Because like I definitely like her more than Namoon, right? But in comparison to everybody I have in B tier, which is like at the top, I have Gil Young, then Sung-ah, and then the King of Beauty, and then I think this guy's like the King of Red or something. Like I forget what his name is.
Yeah.
But like they're all really cool characters, but she kind of sets herself apart from the other kings and all the other characters by just the fact that she's strong and completely loyal to the King of Wanderers.
Okay. I see your reasoning. Then where would you put the King of Wanderers then?
This is
It's really hard because at the same time, if you separate this character from a mother to being a ruler, I say as a ruler she's quite high, but as a mother figure, she is she is the reason of Kim Doja's like source of like weakness, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like how would you
so
place this
hard.
type of character?
It's tough, right? Because if we look at it as, like you said, if we look at her as just the King of Wanderers, right? Like this is who she is with this mask on.
Right.
As the King of Wanderers, she is surrounded by mystery. She also solidifies herself as one of the strongest
Mhm.
without having to use her powers,
Right.
right? She has everyone's respect, commands their respect and loyalty without having to, I don't think, having to have done the things that the other kings have done.
Right.
So as a king, I would probably put her next to, if not above her right hand.
Right. I would do the same.
But as if we had another like whatchamacallit, if we had like another picture for her as a mother,
Oh. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one's a little rough.
I want to say neutrally, I'd put her as unknown. Unsure. I really don't know where I would place her. Like
yeah, it's just so hard.
It's really difficult. I put her at the highest and unsure. For all those reasons we listed.
I think I might do the same because like I just don't feel comfortable ranking her.
I don't feel comfortable
because she's. I guess it kind of boils down to like how are we looking at her, right?
Mhm.
Are we seeing her as the King of Wanderers or are we seeing her as Dokja's mom?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll probably put her in unsure.
Yeah. All right. The next one is this what's his name? Anubis?
No, I don't
I
remember his
keep thinking
name.
Anubis because of fucking just the mythology.
But he's so funny because he was making fun of Dokja because he couldn't learn the way of the wind.
Yeah, that's funny. I want
It
to put
was
him
so good.
above. I put him in the same low C. I put him in low C. He's a character that does become important because of what he does, of the way of the wind. Lycon, yeah, that's the one. Thank you so much. But I think I'm more interested in knowing more about like Namun and the Abyssal than him. But he's a good character.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in low C as well. But I think I'm gonna have to rearrange some stuff in my C tier because I'm looking at it and I'm like, this feels wrong.
Also, I don't think that's Pilsu, because I'm looking and Pilsu's the last one on the list.
Oh wait, you're right.
That guy?
And who is that?
Who's that guy? I don't remember him. I'm gonna put him as unknown because I really don't know who this guy is. I'm sorry.
I don't know who he is either. I really thought that was Pildu.
I thought that was Pildu as well.
Oh. Time skip Sanga.
Oh shit, time skip Sanga.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna put her in low A. Time skip Sanga is probably the best I could hope for in her character development so far.
So you would put her above Gilliam?
I would probably put her above. Actually, wait, no, hold on.
You think about it that way because in the end, the reason why we put Gilliam and B tier was because we didn't know as much of his backstory. But at the same time, we also don't know Sanga's backstory like that either, despite her going through that arc of survival, right? Like, it's so cool that she has like the entirety of Olympus behind her. But what else do we really know besides her? I think we're in the same tier as Gilliam at that point.
Yeah, that's fair. That would probably put her above Gilliam, but at least in the same tier.
I put it right next to her pre.
I think I'm gonna put her next to her pre as well because I'm thinking about it more and I'm like, yeah, she had a better she finally got used to the world, right? Like she finally did what she needed to do to live in that world. But I guess in retrospect, it's one of those that it's like it took her too long to get with the program, right? Whereas Gil Young was just always there with Dokcha. So long as Dokcha wanted to do it, he would do it. He was willing to do anything.
Yeah,
So in a way, that kind of makes her.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that she definitely was like she lived her life in a different way than the other characters did, which is why it took her so long to kind of develop that survival instinct. But we also had a huge time skip on her alone. Like she became a whole different person, 180. And there's even that one part where the other characters like, you should not trust Sangha. But to this day, we're still unsure whether or not we should not trust Sangha because of Olympus, or if we should not trust Sangha because of what happened. So I think that there's still that like question mark, you know?
Oh yeah, that's true, because we don't really know what was the catalyst for her to get to that point. We know that we probably assume that it is because of Olympus.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure. It could be something else entirely. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
This one is the puppet master, the master
yeah,
of the theater.
Yeah, the master of the theater. So I was actually talking about this with a friend as well. With the anime, I think that dungeon is where the anime will probably come to an end. Yes. I think that's where the first season. I think that would be the best part to end the season on. I'm honest,
I agree.
Because it is such a climactic fight, right? There's so much that happens.
Yep.
But we also learn a lot from that as well. We also get huge moments like with the Jihi fight, right?
Yes. Oh my god, Jihi is so good.
But I really hope if the anime does go for a while, I hope it like the first season stops at that arc. I feel like that would be a satisfying stop to that arc.
Mm-hmm. So where would you rank this one?
That's also a hard part, right? Because like contribution wise, I would probably put him, and I would probably say D, but really I don't really have much of an opinion on him, right? Because this is kind of like the character that this is like the mid-level boss. You don't really think too much about mid-level bosses, right? Like,
yeah,
how many times
he only appears one time, but he's mentioned later on, like once or twice. He's not the entire concept of the movie, of the theater, is pivotal because it develops two characters. So I would put him at D, like low D, just because of the importance of that arc. But I think that person itself, because his only thing was to get into the mind of Junhyuk.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have much outside of that. But I think this is the entire arc is quite important. So I would put him as low D.
Yeah, I would probably put him in low D as well. I'll at least put him above the that one-eyed king for sure.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Let's see.
This guy is also one of the NPCs. This is the chain guy. So I put him right next to the other guy.
Me too. Is this? No, this is not the same Dokaibi.
This is a different Dokaibi.
Yeah.
This Dokaibi, I don't have feelings towards him because I don't remember too much on when this Dokaibi comes up.
I don't either, to be honest.
So I put him as unknown, but in the middle of unknown. What?
Yeah.
Oh, this is post. This is post all the stuff.
Yes. This is post. Okay, so
post I'm happy with.
I would put post time skip Dokcha. Tippy top.
Like
oh wait, you're talking about post time skip Dokaibi.
Yeah, post time skip Dokaibi.
Oh, okay. I thought you were okay. So we're saving Dokcha for last.
Yeah, Dokcha's gonna be last.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay. I would put post time skip Dokaibi then. I don't know actually, because like I like him, and I actually felt really bad for him later. So I would probably say high C, to be honest.
Okay. I put him in actually mid B, and in that instance, I'm gonna lower the pre dokyabi to low D, but above
Oh.
above everything else. Like no high D, and I'm putting post dokyabi to mid B.
Oh wait, because that's true. He was kind of a little asshole at the start.
There's two different sides to this dokyabi that we've met. We have the one that is for the views and with the same mindset as every other dokyabi. Then we have the dokyabi that has made the contract with Dokja and has experienced all that stuff, like all those arcs of 9,999 viewers in his channel. He's gone through all those trials. He's at the banquet. He's giving that speech. So he's gone through much more, and he's had more like compassion towards humans as opposed to pre-dokyabi, which is for the entertainment of the constellations.
And not only that, but he's also at that point really undergone he does a physical like transformation where he becomes a mid-level as well.
Yeah, he does.
But he also cares insanely deeply about Dokja at this point.
Yes.
To the point to where he did he's already done a lot of the unthinkable that most dokyabi would do.
Yeah.
But even for like Dokja, having that egg.
Yeah, having that egg was so big. Oh my god.
It's so like pre-time skip dokyabi, he would never have considered that.
Nope, never ever.
But he cares so deeply about Dokja at this point that he would 100% do it. So yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll put him in like high C and low D for or high D for pre-time skip.
I agree. Babsa also asked, for the unsure category, is it not knowing where to put them or don't remember the character? So I think that the beginning of unsure is not knowing where to put them because of mixed feelings / neutral feelings. And then the end of unsure is not knowing where to put them because we don't remember the significance of the character, or if the character has not had like a major role where we think they should be placed like with the other characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Dokja is the last one. Holy fuck! Where do we put this guy?
I don't know. Hold on. Where did you put Pildu actually? Where we had him before?
Pildu, I put him where we had before. So it was like, high C for Pildu.
I think I would. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I would put Pildu in like.
Put him in B. I'm gonna swap the ruler of beauty and Pildu's role.
Oh, that's crazy. What?
Yeah, I don't think.
Maybe it's because I'm a dude. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm like, dang, she's kind of cute. I'll put her in. That's all I needed.
But Pildu is a higher tier than ruler of beauty, for sure. I think I'm now that I'm thinking about it, fuck, I really like him. Uriel goes a bit lower. Junhyuk. No, yeah. Uriel is the low B and Pildu is higher than Uriel. That's how I'm swapping things around. Our things are gonna look so different when we finish.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at mine and I'm like, mine looks kind of blasphemous if I'm honest.
A tsundere Pildu is very tsundere. All right, Dokja. Oh my god, Dokja. Where do we put Dokja?
We have like 3 Dokjas though, so I don't.
I don't know how I would separate the 3 Dokjas.
I think I'm just gonna leave. I mean, like, I don't even know what that 3rd Dokja is, to be honest. The sickly looking one.
Wait, the 3rd Dokja has like the coat already.
Oh wait, you're right. I have mine's mixed up out of order then. Okay.
Oh, mine might be out of order because I did place one like separately. Oh, the sickly one. I don't know what the sickly one is. I feel like we should. How about this? Ignore the first one. The first one is just like the beautiful art. We ignore that one. The Dokja that looks sick is pre, and then the Dokja with the coat is post.
Okay. So if that's what we're using, then I would say pre-time skip Dokcha,
Mhm.
I would probably put him high C or low B.
I would say low B. I would say low B. I think that
I'm
there's still
feeling low B
significance that sets up the character.
because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just because like for me, anyways, even like before I kind of like got really really invested,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like pre-time skip Dokcha was just one of those just super powered main characters
Mm-hmm.
who had just like an overwhelming upper hand on everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't until Minwoo shows up, the werewolf guy,
Mm-hmm.
that we kind of start to see him more as a person and less as like an OP isekai character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, at that point, that's when I really got invested. And then of course we get like time skip later, and he's just even more mature. He has a goal, he's mission oriented. But he's also still the same like compassionate character that we learned about in the beginning too.
Right.
So yeah, I would put him like low B, and then post time skip Dokcha up to like current. We'll say like 73rd Demon King arc, right?
Uh-huh.
I would probably put him. Jesus, that's so hard.
I'll be honest though, I think that even post Dokja is below the three S tiers that we have. But I do think that he's above the golden headband.
Yeah.
So I think I might actually move the golden headband down.
Oh, to like A?
Yeah, to A. Above Secret Plotter, but below the other three characters.
This is kind of hard.
This is hard because I don't think that Dokja fits in this one. Now that I'm looking at who else he's lying with, like I don't think he's fit here. But I don't know if that's like in a negative or positive way either. So
and
I'm trying to think.
The irony of this is that like Dokcha is so important and crucial to my character design as well. So it's like he's such a major inspiration to this new character design that I have. So I'm like, is it hypocrisy to put him below S? Like he's your inspo.
I don't think so. I think that main characters are still gonna have that undevelopedness that we can still learn from. Again, why we put Gilyoung and also Sanga at B tier the way they are. Like we can still learn about the character, and I think the idea of a character not having any flaws or being that perfect character makes them lower than S anyway. So I think it's okay for them for Dokja to be A or lower, depending on how we want to think about his character and what we know about his character. Post time skip.
All right. Yeah, I'll lock it in. I'll put him in A.
I'm putting in high A. He's the first one in A for me.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do now, right? So we have like 1 minute to look at this and rearrange it to our like final answers and lock it, and then we gotta lock it in. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me set a timer.
Oh fuck.
All right. 1 minute starting now.
Oh man.
Dude, this is
No, actually, I'm quite happy with where it is. I moved only one thing, but I'm quite happy with how it is.
speak for yourself, man. Mine's kind of blasphemous. I'm trying to like save face at this point.
Look over at yours real quick. Yours is looking a lot different than mine. I'll let you know that. this is not the same. Yeah.
Let's see. All right. I think I'm okay to lock it in now.
Okay,
I'm
we're
looking
locked
at
in.
it.
We're locked in.
Oh. Shit. All right, time's up. All right, locked in.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk.
I'm looking at your thing, and it is so freaking different. For some reason, you have that one ruler in B, and then it's what? Oh,
All right, so
no.
let me explain. All right, so we got Haewon, Hyunsung, Soo-young, and Yusung on S tier. Those are like my top 4. Then in A tier is Golden Headband, Uriel, Dokcha, post time skip Dokcha, then Secretive Plotter, and then Jihi. And then my B tier, I have my B tier. I have Gil Young, post time skip Sungha, pre time skip Sungha, King of Beauty, and then that one Red King. I can't remember his name, but he was really cool. And then free time skip Dokcha.
What the fuck?
Dude, I'm telling you, the only reason why he's that much higher is because he's headcanon to be fucking. He's voice acted by Junichi Sawabe. That's the only reason why.
Dude.
C, post time skip Tokabi, King of Wanderers right hand, Namwoon, Abyssal King, Junhyuk, and then the Lycon. That's kind of crazy that I have Junhyuk in bottom tier.
Junhyuk's bottom C tier is crazy. In fact, the craziest part is Junhyuk is lower tier than Namwoon, who only appears 3 times so far. Oh my god. No, what's even the worst? Junhyuk is lower than the one ruler who only appeared 1 time and ended up dying anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. He dies because a part of the building falls on him. Like, we don't even get a fun resolution. Like, we get like one cool fight scene, and then he gets squashed by the ceiling.
Yup.
And that's it. Oh my god. This is actual heresy. I should not be allowed to do this.
Oh my god, we've been speaking for almost 4 hours, did you know?
That is crazy.
That is insane. What the fuck? Good, I'm sleepy now.
Dude, and we haven't even scratched the surface of this.
Oh my
bro.
god,
It's like next time.
The banquet. There's so much
Yeah.
to talk
Oh
about.
my god.
Part
Dude,
2
we didn't even talk about Gigantomachia, the Ragnarok and stuff. Like the end of the scenarios. We haven't talked about any of that.
No. Oh my god.
Like this was just a primer.
We gotta like get back. Episode 2. We don't know when episode 2 is gonna be.
Yeah,
Episode 2,
we don't
we're
know.
gonna speak about all that, and we'll ask you guys questions. If you want, we can talk through this and everything. Oh my god.
Yeah,
there's so
I'm
much
sorry
to
that
talk
we literally just yapped for 4 hours and we didn't even really.
about. We just like
We took like 2 questions.
Yeah, it was like we literally at the beginning we were like speaking about the art, like the beginning art, and we just skipped over completely. And we started doing that. Oh, it's we haven't even spoken in depth about like Jihyun's like stigma.
Yeah, no, we haven't talked about that. It's because like the more that we talked about it, it's so hard to go in order.
Oh yeah,
because there's so many things that line up that connect to different parts of the story.
Yeah.
So it's like you start talking about like G's character development, then like historical fable reenacting or whatever that was called.
Oh my god, yes. Oh,
There's
so much.
Guys, we love ORV so much.
Amazing. ORV's so good.
Please, if anything, I hope our passion for ORV has like gotten you to want to read it, because it is, oh my god,
Please.
And there's no shortage of guys, it took me like I think the entirety of maybe 2 weeks to get caught up entirely. It is so doable. It's so easy. Just go to webtoon, look up ORV, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint.
Yeah. You can reread it
all
over
caught
and
up.
over again.
I'm gonna reread it because like
Me right now.
there's so much to talk about.
So good.
But
By you, yes.
do you have any closing statements?
We're gonna do an episode 2 where we dive deeper into the other arcs along with Jihyo, especially since she's the character we have not spoken about. We also want to dive deep about the banquet, the type of constellations, the type of fables, the hierarchy of all 3 different types of constellations as well. I really would like to also touch upon the plausibility system, because that's gonna bring in the throne. That's gonna bring in the fight with the serpent was insane in pieces.
Yes!
That fight was fucking crazy.
It's gonna take everything in our power to like not trail off into different
It's gonna be impossible. We're gonna be getting off topic again. But there's so much
it's so good.
Oh my god, I haven't read the light novel yet, but that's my next plan after rereading the manhwa.
I want to, but I can't find a place to read it that's not in Korean.
That's in Korean. Yeah, we can't read Korean. No.
I can't read Korean, brother.
We're useless.
Do you know how many times people have told me they're like, "Oh yeah, I just finished reading the light novel. It's so good. You guys have no idea how much you're in for." And I'm like, "No, I have no idea because I can't fucking read."
Wait,
I'm so illiterate.
Basa has the sauce for the light novel? Oh god, no way.
Hey yo.
No way. English. Oh my god,
bro.
Please, I'm begging you.
Please.
You're not gonna see me online for the next 2 weeks just because I'm fucking reading that.
Hell
Please.
yeah. And we're gonna be texting each other the entire time while we're doing it too.
Novel reader app on the phone. Novel reader app on the phone.
Downloading it
Mark that down. Novel reader app on the phone. This is it. ORV. It's just there's so much to talk about. It's just each character just needs like an entire like episode on their own. It is.
We could
so
do
good.
it like that actually. Yeah, we could have like each.
Dude, no, we're gonna get off topic.
True. It's so worth it though. It's worth it for ORV. It's so worth it.
ORV is so good. Okay.
I still need to like read Solo Leveling too.
Yeah.
Because I got the first two. Novels actually, like the light novels.
Oh, nice.
They apparently have like an English translation.
Oh, very nice. I think that you should definitely go ahead and read that for sure. It's good. It's a different type of good compared to ORV, IMO.
Yeah.
You can also reread it. And the art's also fantastic. It's just a different type of read. They're both really good though.
The funny thing about it is that like I've read ORV like at least 2 or 3 times now.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like the Solo Leveling anime, I've watched it 4 different times.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so, both of those are so good.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for the anime for ORV.
Yes.
I'm excited to see who's gonna be voicing who.
Yes, I'm really excited about that too. Both the JP and also English voice actors.
You guys, you know what you should do? We should get chat to like send in their predictions to see who's gonna be voicing who in the anime.
That'd be so cool. Let's do that in the next episode. We can do some guesstimating to see.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to us just yap about ORV.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, this also be great. Thank you, Sho, for literally just like throwing this idea in my head and inviting me to this. Like, oh my god, we just did this impromptu.
We really did. I literally texted you and we were like, you want to just like have a stream where we just yap about ORV and that's it?
This morning.
And that's the stream. Yeah, that was literally this morning. We threw all of this together in like last minute. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Thank you
Me
so much,
too.
Audie, for humoring me.
I have
And
so much to
I look forward to.
rewatch for this one.
I know, me too. But I look forward to it. I look forward to doing more. Anything else you want to do? Plug your socials, anything like that?
No, you guys can follow me at twitch.tv/NUNOVEL.
Whoa, wait, whoa, hold
You
on,
can
hold on
also
a second.
subscribe to me on twitch.tv/NUNOVEL. If you have Amazon Prime, don't forget you get Twitch Prime for free for 30 days every single month. So to subscribe to your favorite streamer, twitch.tv/NUNOVEL.
That is crazy. You can also follow me at ORIHIME as well on Twitch. On Twitter, it is ORIHIME_VT at Twitter / formula or X or whatever you want to call it. But thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Are you gonna be continuing to stream or play other stuff, or are you ending here too?
I'm probably gonna end here. It's kind of
yeah, it's a little late. It's almost 2 a.m.
Yeah, a little late. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So, then I'll go ahead and close off, and I'll rate a different streamer then. Thank you for tonight's show.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care.
You too. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.
And that was Sho, you guys. Please check out Sho. He's awesome. He's a writer too. Oh, you can send it here, and then I'll copy and paste it, send to Sho as well. But that was genuinely so fun. I love speaking about ORB. I just like speaking about manhwas and also webtoons in general. Like, it's just so nice to be able to speak about all this. Like, I've been wanting to like spew out like random shit for so long. Thank you so much for the sauce. You're so goated. Holy shit. I'm gonna send this to him right now. As much as I had fun just like walking into the abyss, I hope that you guys also had fun or had a good time in general just listening. I know this was a really impromptu stream and I wasn't even supposed to stream today, and it was so last minute and everything, but like, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a great time. I'm so happy. I might actually post this entire thing onto YouTube as a VOD, because it was just literally non-stop yapping about anything that we had in mind about ORB in the first place. So it was quite awesome. IMO. So let's go raid somebody else for now. Once again, thank you so much for coming by. I had a really fun time. We're going to raid. What chapter are you in? I'm up to chapter, I think it was like 201 or 202, which is the most updated one. I'm on that one right now. For the manhwa. Alright, let's go raid. It's the Paru streaming Withering Waves with his stepsis model. I wonder if I have enough points to redeem stepsis. So let's go raid. Alright guys, have a good night. I'm gonna go to sleep immediately. My eyes are so tired. I want to sleep, and I have to wake up early tomorrow for a collab, so that's gonna be fun. 221 is most recent for me. Maybe I don't think my app is updated, and I'm using Manga Reader, which is a newish app, and it's a little bit slow when it comes to updating the chapters, unfortunately. Have a good night, you guys. We're gonna go raise the bar. Say hi to Step Bro for me, okay? He's really nice. He's so kind to me. Good night, you guys. Good night. Bye-bye.